But yeah, it's definitely a struggle. I feel
Um,
like I'm trying to think if what the last game I played that was like fully released, and I can't think of anything. Like what fully released when it first released. And I can't really think of anything recent.
like, like without a day one patch or
Yeah.
what?
Like without a day one patch, without extra stuff being added later, without like it being an early access first or things like that. Like just a game being released and that's the game. I don't think.
Most indie games.
I mean, the thing is though, most indie games are now early access too. Like they'll release and they're like, we're in
Yeah.
early access. But I mean, I guess like some of the indie games I've played that are like really short, like only a few hours or so, are usually ones that were just released and that was that. Um,
I'm I'm perfectly fine if I have a preload, but then on top of it is a patch at the same time. I don't want to do it separately. I mean, like right now, just be like, well, I can't play this game because my internet is fucking slow, and it's gonna take me hours in order to play it.
yeah.
It's not the game company's fault my internet is slow, but it's like you could have better plan.
Yeah. I mean,
And it's not their fault of time zones either, because they like to release at midnight at a certain time zone, but then it's total bullshit for the rest of us that are before or after it.
yeah. Yeah.
Like it's great for Australia or New Zealand and stuff because they are fucking hours ahead.
Yeah.
And for them, these downloads are most likely when they wake up in the morning. For the rest of us, it's like I've had a download be released at like 4 a.m. before.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of reminds me of how like I always think about how over here like we have like all the big gaming events like the game awards and all that stuff and how it's like in the evening for people like us here in America but like in other countries it's pretty late. um
Yep.
and the struggle with that. Like pasta is always dying by the end of like the Game Awards stream, and it's. I mean, I guess the one time where it's kind of the reverse is with like the Tokyo Game Show stuff. Like that, I was looking at the comparison of the time. And it was like the stuff that was going on was at like 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
God, I could not do that. I will just have to hear what
Yeah,
happened afterwards.
it's quite interesting because I have a streamer called Ghibli who I'm been watching, and he lives in New Zealand usually, but right now I think he was in Texas, then he was in then he was in Los Angeles, and then whatever else. But he's in the US at the moment. He will be in the next 3 months. But he still is playing stuff at the same time that he would in New Zealand, and even a little earlier as well. And it's like quite interesting because it's like obviously the hours is like night and day. because for New Zealand, the the time is like basically the next day, but a few hours.
Yeah.
Um, almost like 20 hours ahead. So
Yeah.
it's just I guess it makes sense that he's still able to keep the time in the same parameters.
Yeah.
It's just different time of the day. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's I I get it though, because like releasing it midnight somewhere is not going to be midnight in the same place,
Yeah.
which always weirded me out. Here's a prime example: is Pokemon that they say the game will be released at midnight, and it's like, is that my midnight? Is that someone else's midnight?
Yeah.
But they do it at literally midnight, which means that a lot of people it sucks for, because some people have been playing it for hours, and then other people are still waiting for the game to unlock.
Yeah.
Which I find that kind of icky. Like, I'd rather there is an actual worldwide release
Yeah.
than people being able to play it earlier or like way later. Because it's just unfair for people, and it does mean that you have to dodge spoilers literally all the time, which is why I'm having to dodge Reddit right now and the internet in general, because some people are able to play Chaos Reigns and I'm here. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It
like,
is.
I probably could be playing it right now, but I chose you, so be grateful.
I chose you.
Yeah,
Thank you, thank you.
I chose you, Anya Chu.
Anya Chu, let's go. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely hard because companies used to not even have to worry about this stuff back in the day because you just wouldn't get worldwide releases for games. Or if you did, like, people wouldn't necessarily see what other people are doing across the world because the internet wasn't as, like, established as it is now. Whereas now, of course, like, we're all connected regardless of where we are, and we get a lot of
Mm-hmm.
worldwide releases, which is a good thing that, people get more access to stuff and it's not, like, as region locked as it used to be. But at the same time, that does add on the issues of, like, people being
It's
in different time zones and different areas and all that.
And it's still very funny that big companies like Rockstar and NetherRealm Studios for Mortal Kombat still, etc., still get very overwhelmed by people using all their servers at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, I get that it's hard to uh um estimate that, but like, you have this thing, you tell people a date that they can play at, and then they can't play it because you underestimated how many people would be playing at the
Yeah.
same time. Which is
Yeah.
the issue I had with GTA 5, and I feel is going to happen again when they do release GTA 6. Because
Yeah.
if it already happened, there's a precedent for it.
Hi, Mew. Welcome to the stream. I love ya. Welcome,
Hello.
welcome. Um, but Yeah, I mean, at the same time, I wonder how much of it is them not, like, them underestimating how many people show up, or them not having the safeguards built in yet to avoid griefing and stuff. Because sometimes I
Yeah.
wonder when, like, those launches happen and, like, the servers get overwhelmed, I wonder if sometimes it's just trolls, like, flooding the servers as well to try and like get them to crash.
Oh, it's most likely that kind of stuff. Though the thing is that the reason that stuff comes out so much later than usual is because they are already testing that. But that does not stop people that they haven't hired to do this shit doing something. So, yeah, you're probably right about that too.
Yeah. Cuz
Because they, thankfully, like I've talked about, like with modding and stuff like that, is that including with people that companies that do have bots and do break security and stuff like that, those people are usually hired to build up those defenses and to test it, kind of thing.
yeah.
But it doesn't mean that a new person might come around and be able to break even that. So,
Yeah. Well, cuz that's usually I feel like when you have it in like a environment like a testing environment, that's like a controlled environment, whereas like once they
yeah.
finally fully release it, usually that's when a lot of issues come to light because it's no longer a controlled environment anymore. And so then they
And
learn here's where the breaks in the wall are, and then they can seal it up.
and that's why I feel open betas are necessary.
Yeah.
And why it I do prefer the fact, as I've said before, that Sega games come out in Japan like 10 months to a year before they come out anywhere else.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing because it means it's been tested on those people, and then we get a much better
Yeah.
completed result.
Yep. Yep. It's true. It is. It's like the it's like Japan's the guinea pigs. uh,
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah, it's all a struggle. But yeah,
The only issue I have is when I don't get it.
yeah,
I'm fine with it staying in Japan for a bit, but as long as the rest of the world gets it.
yeah. Eventually, yeah, yeah. It's definitely a struggle because there's definitely still games that even come out now that I'm like, I wish that wasn't just a Japan exclusive or like whatever.
hmm
Is like,
Oh, did you did you know that there's a state of play today?
oh no, I didn't. Wait,
Yeah, there's.
when's it
I think
happening?
they're saying that Capcom is doing something, or at least Sony is. At like 11 o'clock my time, so in like 3 hours.
Oh snap. Let me see.
Yeah, just look up state of play, I guess.
Okay, so it says 48 minutes ago, The Verge. Sony's holding another PlayStation State of Play on September 24th at 6 p.m. ET, which would mean 5 p.m. my time. Yeah,
Yeah.
5 p.m. my time. I'll heck yeah, we'll end the stream watching the State of Play. Let's go. Um
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how we feel beforehand.
Mm,
Oh, yeah, I see. Live in 3 hours, it says.
yeah.
Crazy. Thank you, Lulu. I had no idea.
No, of course.
I never can keep up with all of the conferences besides like the main ones. Being like, I know when the Game Awards happens. I know when all the Summer Game Fest stuff happens. But everything else, I'm like, oh wait, there's another, because there's just so many now that it's hard to keep up
I
with.
only, I only know about things if I stumble upon them on X because I was looking up literally about the Mortal Kombat servers on Ed Boon's account and stuff like that, and I saw to the side trending was Resident Evil 9, and then just someone saying that like the state of play details had been leaked or something
Oh, I
for
see, I
new game
see.
releases.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, there's a state of play," and it's like, "Yeah, it's today."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What time?"
It makes me wonder if they do some of that stuff on purpose, like leak info and things like that, so that as like a
Oh,
way to
they do.
advertise.
They do.
To be like,
They
hey
do. They've been
guys, by
doing
the
it for ages.
way.
Capcom do it a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Capcom and their sneaky ways of doing things.
But yeah. Anyway, you want to get started?
Yeah. Hold on, I was replying to Zach. Okay, there we go. Hopefully, my controller will stay connected and will be all okay this whole time, believing in the dream.
We'll see.
Okay.
Also, my call has been fluctuating from the time we even started,
Yeah,
so
it's been
hopefully it'll be okay.
it's been a little bit for me too. Like you've been cutting out like a few times here and there. And I know last night Azure and I were struggling where like every once in a while, I like would be talking and then I would just go silent for him, but I was still actually talking. He just couldn't hear me. And then the same thing happened with Samaj where
Yep.
he was talking and none of us could hear him. So I think there's stuff going on with Discord right now or something. Because I know my internet's all fine and everything. So I think it's Discord messing with stuff, but who knows?
Mine isn't, but Discord also likes to mess up for me anyway, so
Yeah.
even when I have my better internet. Because right now my better internet is being used to download something. I'm on the house Wi-Fi right now.
Yeah.
But I will switch if I need to, because it's not very good for Ruby if nobody can hear me.
Yeah. Don't worry, Lulu. I can still hear ya.
Okay, good. It's more of a concern of the stream.
Yeah. Understandable. Also, I do still
Like, sometimes the words don't appear on Discord.
Yeah. Oof. The struggle is real. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why we end up waiting as we wait for the Discord stream to move on.
Good job.
Yeah. But last time the team at Osawa's place was asked to leave, and but Kajiwara decided to stay with Osawa. And then he found out that it seems like I might be in league with whatever is going on here, or at least somebody using her computer, if not her. Then we also, Achi discovered that Tateno and his dad, not Tateno's dad, but Achi's dad, are trying to kill Hitomi so that they can bring Hitomi's heart and, like, put it in Achi's sister to save her life.
Yep. And why is that?
Oh, because she has Bombay blood, just like Achi's sister.
And why does it need to be the exact same blood?
Well, like, if you would need to match the blood, otherwise you're gonna have a problem. Like, it's a very rare blood type. So, if, like, they tried giving her the wrong blood type, she would probably just die from it. Anyways, we have a keep out with Maria. We have Kano. And Minorikawa. Wait. Okay, that was a Osawa.
Well, it's not that they can only have her, it's only that she's with an access and they need a living person who is brain dead in order to remove the heart fast enough to be able to use it on for surgery.
Well, it's that too, but I think they mentioned that, like, they couldn't just use any heart. It has to be somebody with the same blood type as well, which makes it even harder because it's such a rare blood type.
Yeah. But that's also why what's-his-face has been after Maria, not Maria, after Hitomi the entire time.
Yeah. I don't know why it's not letting us go past this part. Oh, wait. Didn't he get, like, hit by a car? Oh, wait, no. That was Achi got hit by a car. I don't remember why we're doing this again.
That's Achi.
Yeah. I guess Minorikawa also died from something, but I don't remember what it was. But I guess we're back here now that we cleared it up. Oh, wait, yeah, they ran into Achi with their car, and that led to the bad end. That's what happened. Okay. So that's why it's back here.
We cleared this part because yeah.
Yeah, because we
and then we switched over to fix Archie. We made it in the first place so Minorikawa wouldn't be up on top of the building to distract Kano from saving Maria, and then we changed it, but then Archie ended up getting run over. Then we switched to here and made sure that they didn't run into Archie. And made Archie run somewhere else or whatever else, so they didn't run into Archie. So now we're here going from this part because we now haven't run Archie over.
Yeah. Do you want
It's
me?
a whole bunch of going back and forth for this
Yep.
part.
Yep. Do you want me to still do the
Yes,
narration for
please.
this? The taxi stopped outside of Heaven Publishing.
Yes.
The trip had taken 10 minutes on the dot.
Thanks.
Norikawa left a 1,000 yen bill on the seat and exited the cab. Sir, the driver called after him. Norikawa turned back around. Kimizuka was leaning out the window to point at him. Hi, Azure. Welcome to the stream. I love ya. How's it going, Azure?
Hi. You're smelly.
I have to tell you something very
I
important,
love you the
Anya.
most.
Your energy is low. You should drink a potion. I'm leaving forever.
She just ate breakfast, so we're fine.
Yeah. I actually just had my potions. I don't even need your strongest potions.
Yay.
And no you, Azure.
She had
no
the
you.
she had the food from Streets of Rage instead, but not off the floor or out the bin.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
No, it was not on the floor or anything. It was, my mom made me eggs, bacon, hash browns, and toast. Don't worry, I didn't eat out of the bin. It isn't called work because it's fun, sir.
You said we were worried.
The day will be over soon enough. Just hang in there a little bit longer. The driver finished with a knowing grin. Minorikawa cracked a ghost of a smile. Maybe his spirits have been lifted just a tiny little bit. Heck yeah, I'll let her know that you want some breakfast.
Thank you. You're a true friend of the working man.
He waved half-heartedly, then headed into the building. Mr. Mino! Chiaki threw herself at him as soon as he opened the door to the editing office. News of the explosion was playing on the television. Minorikawa marched straight to his desk and opened up his laptop. While it booted up, he tried to get a handle on the current situation.
A handle. Where are the folks of the loan company? From the loan company, not at the loan company, from the loan company.
They're here! I have them waiting downstairs.
Do they know Toyama's dead?
I'm sorry. I kind of let that slip.
What about Hannah?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard from her since she called earlier. With a tiny sigh, Minorikawa started typing at his laptop. By some miracle, his 6 pages of the copy were nearly wrapped up. Still, he needed to do whatever it took to see this job through to the end. That would serve as his final tribute to Toyama's memory. He loaded his copy into the DTP software in order to set the layout. Bit by bit, actual magazine articles began to take shape. Then the editing department door swung open. Do you want to be the delinquents?
These would be you.
Oh, yeah, these delinquents. I forgot about them. Hey.
Yeah, those are the main delinquents you've been voicing.
Yeah. Snarled the young man who barged in first. He kicked over a stack of books. How long you gonna keep us waiting, huh? Honestly, Sagawa, must you be so rowdy? A middle-aged man stepped in alongside him. Are you Mr. Minorikawa, then? he added as his eyes fixed on the journalist. He held out his business card. A pleasure to meet you. I'm Masayo Uzu from Takarada Financing.
A black market lending firm that offers loans at an interest rate above what the law allowed. Well known for taking whatever steps necessary to collect what's owed. Its business card slogan, got bad credit but you need a loan? Call anytime. We'll pull together a loan that suits your needs.
Amazing. Kept you waiting, huh? Toyama. However, I'm afraid that we do need you to give us back the money we loaned. Despite his polite tone, the threat in his voice was plain.
Look, next month's issue of 4-Star Journal Gossip is definitely coming out. Couldn't you please wait for repayment until we have funds for those sales?
That was exactly what Toyama's plan had been after all. Well, we certainly aren't monsters. If the magazine is going to be making you money, we wouldn't mind delaying another month. You really mean it? To clarify, that would be the case if Toyama were still alive. Releasing the next issue is all well and good, but with Toyama gone, so too is the company. That will make full repayment of what we're owed impossible, I expect. Crazy. Can he show us those neat numbers on the back of his credit card? Heck yeah, Azure. And yeah, that power stance with like the leg on the table.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Then what do you want us to do?
How about we just cut to the chase? Dig out your ears and listen up. Chiaki recoiled in a panic, and Minorikawa held up an interposing hand.
Knock it off! You're scared the young lady!
A thin smile came to Ozu's face. All we want to know is where Mr. Toyama's daughter is. Oh no!
You leave Hana alone.
Oh no! Oh no!
No bully Hana.
I mean, I think it's worse than bullying. I think they're probably gonna... Like, all the things I can imagine they'll do with her is not good. Like, best case scenario...
Yeah, because I know from playing Yakuza games and also reading about Yakuza is that they will most likely keep Hana and put her to work from a very young age to work off her dad's debt.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
In the worst ways possible.
Yeah, it's like the best case scenario for her would be like to just be like another member of the gang and like do
She
like,
won't be.
Yeah, and like do like dirty work for them and stuff. But the other option is they'll, you know,
trafficked.
Yeah, she'll be human trafficked. Yeah.
Yep.
Big oof.
Yeah, sure, Andrew. That's how it's gonna work.
Oh boy. How about we just cut to the chase? Pulls out a knife and cuts a dude named Chase. Heck yeah. Also, hi, Rolf. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? I love ya. And yep.
Hi, Rolf.
Monday stream on a Tuesday. Let's go. Yeah, that's right. Tell us where the girl is. No way! Hana's just a little kid. She doesn't have any responsibility to pay back the... Ozu didn't let her finish. We're aware of that. Nevertheless, we'd still like to know where she is. The law didn't matter right now. Guys like this had all sorts of ways of wringing money out of people. It was clear from the looks on their faces that Ozu and Sagawa had some wicked scheme up their sleeves. Unless, of course, you would prefer to take on Toyama's debts, Mr. Minorikawa. You are quite the accomplished reporter, after all. Take on his debts, huh? Minorikawa didn't know how much Toyama had borrowed, but only took one look at these guys to tell him it was no small sum. How about it? The way you land scoop after scoop, I'm sure you'll be able to repay us in full before you die. Minorikawa fiercely...
Yeah, because even though Toyama died, like, the debt is still going to get arrears on it. They're still going to add a whole bunch of money on top of it.
Yeah,
as
for
interest.
Yeah.
So that amount is never going to end.
Yeah.
It won't.
Minorikawa fiercely returned his stare. I'm thinking it probably alright, I'll take on the debt. Either that or I'll consider it.
3, 2,
No.
1. Choose now. See, this gets it to actually do it.
Alright, I'll take on the debt. But not just yet. Let me finish up this job here first.
Very well. I suppose you can wait just at least a little while longer. Look at them sing! With that face.
Yep.
The two men from Takarada Financing plucked themselves down on the editing department sofa. I still love Chiaki's outfit. It's so good. Mr. Mino, please, you can't agree to something like this.
Yeah, I really like that her top, like, has a fake tie on it.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it. I love all, like, the different stuff. Like, she has, like, the shirt, but also the scarf, and then she has, like, a shirt underneath her shirt, and then she has, like, 2 skirts, and then she has, like, the striped, like, tights, knee highs. It's just, there's so much going on here, and it just works. I love it.
Yeah.
If I don't, these guys are just gonna keep threatening poor little Hana.
But still.
That is not your concern. What I need to know is how your piece of the street interviews come in.
But, I mean, those guys, they said it doesn't matter if the issue comes out or not.
Don't be ridiculous. When a professional is taking a job, they see it through to the end.
Chiaki took his point and scrambled to grab the...
See, but you didn't see, but I curled up my fist and hit my knee when I was saying that.
Gotta get into the spirit of it.
I really get into character.
Yeah. Just like how apparently all of them were doing this in actual motion instead of just taking the shots, which is honestly insane to me. Chiaki took his point.
It's how I have the same accent. It's how I have the same accent for Maria and Hitomi, but for Maria, it takes on more of a sassy see overtone than Hitomi's does.
Heck yeah.
Because I
Heck
make
yeah.
motions with my hands.
Heck yeah. That's the way to do it, is you get, like, the motion of your body into it as well. Method acting. Chiaki took his point and scampered to grab the printout of her copy. Minorikawa gave it a quick once-over. You saw immediately that the piece was lacking in structure. He then read the article a second time, checking the finer details. Several off-themed sentences jumped out at him.
This no good. Rewrite it.
He thrust the printout back at Chiaki. Yes, sir! She bowed her head and retreated to another desk. Whoa, he's smoking way too much. That's so many cigarettes in such a short period of time. The TV was still on, and Yu's broadcasting voice...
he smokes a lot.
Yeah. Suddenly broke through the silence, as well as Minorikawa's concentration. We're live on the scene now, where an explosion in Shibuya has... Minorikawa gazed blankly at the screen. He found his mind drifting to a particular memory of Toyama. I can't believe this. Can't believe he hit us. Dang C. The door looked like it might fall apart at any moment.
SMH.
But Minorikawa didn't care. He pounded on it as hard as he could. The Toyama nameplate popped off and fell to the floor. It popped off. It was such a good nameplate. It was hard to believe this dilapidated apartment was the home of a newspaper editor who worked his way up from reporter.
Hey, Toyama, get your ass out here!
At the sound of Minorikawa's angry shouting, other tenants on the floor poked their heads out of their rooms to stare. He paid them no heed, continuing to call out. Eventually, Toyama opened the door, dressed in his sweats and undershirt. Quiet down, you... I don't remember what voice I gave him. Or were you...
We barely hear from him.
I don't remember which one of us was Toyama.
I remember.
Quiet down, you moron. Come on in. I hear you tendered your letter of resignation to the paper. Oh, wait, no, that's you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I thought that it was him.
I hate you!
No. Why would Minorikawa be knocking at the door and the other guy's asking that to him?
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know.
Dingus.
I'm the biggest
I hear
dingus.
you tender your letter of resignation to the paper. Tell me why!
Toyama quirked a lopsided grin. You want to know why I quit, huh? Oh, right, lean in close. Minorikawa peered at him dubiously.
Huh? Why?
I don't want anyone overhearing this. Resigned, Minorikawa leaned forward and turned his right ear towards Toyama. The man's warm breath against his cheek was pretty unsettling.
Ew.
Yeah. At first, he had trouble concentrating on Toyama's story, but when the older man got to the crux of the matter, he found himself listening with rapt attention. By the time Toyama finished, Minorikawa was unable to suppress his shock.
You're starting your own publishing company?
Not so loud, damn it! Toyama shushed him with a finger to his lips. He looked around warily as if there might be spies in his own apartment.
Right, but a publishing company?
Oh, wait. What did it say? How do I go back? There we go.
What are you doing for your distributor account?
There we go. All booksellers were required to use a wholesale distributor to circulate their publications. To do business with such a distributor, a publisher needed a specialized distributor account.
Like, not gonna let a company with no track record open a new account with a distributor. I'm sure you must realize that.
Toyama grinned, a proud gleam in his eyes.
I can't speak. It's hard to say hard words indoors.
Pat. I know, that's why I bought one.
You bought one?
A ghost account belonging to a publisher that went bankrupt. Distributor accounts could go for tens of millions of yen. There was no way Toyama could afford that on his severance pay alone. He must have taken out a loan in order to make the purchase. But the publishing industry wasn't a slump nowadays. People just weren't buying books much anymore. Starting up a new publishing company was a beyond risky endeavor. And I've already decided on a name for my company, Minorikawa. Toyama's face was positively beaming. Get this, Heaven Publishing.
Heaven? That sounds fatalistic.
The idea is that the people who work for me will feel like they're in paradise. For all of his kvetching?
Yeah, I think so.
I've never heard of this word about keeping quiet. Toyama was now exclaiming pretty loudly himself.
I mean, I can appreciate your willingness to take the risk, but surely your wife must have had objections.
Toyama fell silent. He went and opened up the refrigerator. Minorikawa took a peek inside. Its shelves were mournfully spare, holding little besides beer cans and drinking snacks. The missus left me, took our daughter with her. Those scant few words painted the picture clearly enough. Toyama grabbed a can of beer and tossed it to his guest. But no more sob stories, he went on. He briskly cracked open his own can of beer. Crack open a cold one. Weak foam bubbled from the top. Cheers, Minorikawa.
Yep.
To Heaven Publishing's big debut. He'd cast everything aside and was striving for a new beginning. If the man had braced himself for the challenge, it wasn't Minorikawa's place to tell him he was making a mistake. Even if it was an uphill battle, he had little chance of winning.
Congrats, Mr. Toyama.
Minorikawa pulled the tab on his beer can. Cheers. The two of them clacked their cans together. One year had passed since Toyama founded Heaven Publishing. Minorikawa poked his head into the editing office, a bag from the convenience store in hand.
Hey, boss, how's business?
How does it look like it's doing? Toyama sat amidst a veritable mountain of returned stock, his expression bleak.
Bookstores do not purchase the books they sell, but rather take them on consignment. This allows them to return the publisher any books that do not sell.
The books were all bulky, non-fiction tomes, not exactly the sort to fly off the shelves. The man couldn't even muster a smile for their reunion. It's been like this for every nonfiction book we've put out.
Wow, started right off with the bleak stuff, huh?
Because things are bleak. The only thing that's selling is this gossip rag of ours. Minorikawa pulled some beer cans from his bag, handing one to Toyama. Toyama lifted an issue of 4-star general gossip from atop his desk. It was Heaven Publishing's one breadwinner, the only thing keeping the company afloat. But the gossip now seemed like it was buried in the red of the publisher's nonfiction releases. I really did have higher aspirations than this. Toyama sighed, gazing in disappointment at the piles of unsold books. But here we are, with our gossip magazine as our only viable publication. The beleaguered bookseller chugged his beer.
Daddy, hungry.
Minorikawa started to hear a young child's voice. He turned around to see a little girl nestled between the stacks of returned stock. That's my daughter, Hana. It's complicated,
Aww.
but she's living with me now. She's such a good girl. Pat.
She is.
I see.
Minorikawa couldn't press for more details with Hana right there. In all likelihood, things with Toyama's ex-wife hadn't been going well. Go on, introduce yourself. This is one of Daddy's work friends. Hana turned to Minorikawa with a bright little grin.
Hana, my name's Hana. I'm 6.
You want some of this?
Minorikawa held out a packet of dried squid he brought to go with the beers.
Sure.
Hana greedily stuffed her cheeks with the squid. Toyama flashed a sheepish grin.
Do you like living with your daddy, Han?
Giving the girl's hair a gentle ruffle.
Uh-huh, I do.
Aww. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had dried squid either.
My daddy's amazing. He runs a company.
Toyama let out a tiny, involuntary sob at his daughter's ready praise. I'll keep at it. Looking into his daughter's smiling face, Hana is more important to me than any high aspirations I might have had. I'll keep shoveling out copies of the gossip, and at least make sure she's always got something good to eat. Just squid rings, which are basically like onion rings.
I like squid rings.
I don't think I've had that either. The only like squid related stuff I've had is like, I think sushi and then also takoyaki.
Yummy.
Yum yum.
Daddy, this is really tasty.
Hana held up the pouch of dried squid. Tears welled up in Toyama's eyes. Next time, I'll make sure she has some sashimi instead of something like this.
Hey, what do you mean something like this?
This is meant for drinking with beer, dude.
Yeah. Sight, Minorikawa thought. A father and his girl getting along so well. Toyama might have been a hard-hitting journalist, but when he came home at the end of the day, he was just daddy. It was only natural for the man as a father to put his child above anything else. Which is exactly the opposite sentiment of the guy who made the Silent Hill movie.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's fair, Ralph. It's fine if you don't like the texture.
Yeah, it does have a very particular
It's
texture.
one of the few textures I do like, which is really weird.
Yeah, it's all depends. Like, we all have
Because
very different palettes.
I can like that stuff, but then I cannot like the cheese that is in between melting and weird. I think it just I don't. Do you know how people like the cheese pull of a pizza? I hate that.
Yeah.
It feels stringy and weird.
Yeah. No, I understand what you mean. I'm trying to think if there's, like, something that I don't like just because of the texture of it.
Pulled pork or pulled chicken or something like that, anything like that, I can't stand it.
Yeah, the stringiness of it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because like it's the same casseroles and stuff because the meat is meant to become tender and fall apart and ugh.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, big hugs. When they accidentally give you the glue-filled grilled cheese.
Reaction, folks.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Rolf loves pulled pork. We all have different tastes. That's why I'm glad there's so much food.
We all have a difference, yeah.
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 When they accidentally give you the glue-filled grilled cheese that they made for the photo. After gorging herself on snacks.
Well, I guess it's like when the cheese is too thick and it doesn't melt all the way properly in like a grilled cheese or something.
Yeah.
Then it's like, ooh, I don't like it.
Understandable.
Anyway.
Oh, you went vegetarian, Rolf? I don't know if I don't think I knew that, but heck yeah. I can't think of anything that I dislike just based on the texture of it.
They do really have really good vegan substitutes for pulled pork and stuff, so you could probably go that route.
Yeah.
They make it out of what's it called? Some kind of I think some kind of fruit or something. Jackfruit, that's it. They make it out of jackfruit and flavor it like pork and stuff, so
yeah.
Probably go that route instead.
Yeah. Yeah, there is some really good substitutes. I went to a party once hosted by one of my mom's coworkers when she was still working at UB. And her coworker, both like the wife and husband, I think were both vegan. And so they had only like vegan options for the party as well, of course. And they had like wings, like it was meant to be like chicken wings, but it wasn't made out of chicken, of course. It was made out of, I think, like cauliflower or something, and it actually tasted really good. It surprisingly worked really well.
Yeah, there's times where I've had like reduced vegetarian and vegan stuff, and they do taste a lot better than the normal meat stuff for me. A lot of the time, because a lot of the meat stuff includes I end up chewing on it, and I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
So but they still taste really good. So
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a lot of good vegan and vegetarian options for things. I'm like, sometimes I crave meat, but a lot of the time I'm not like the biggest meat fan besides like with bacon, and that's like it.
yeah,
Most of the time it's
my
you go, Lulu.
like I think I did become a vegetarian at one point. Because I was like, I can't stand meat otherwise, apart from like certain things, so I might as well just go vegetarian.
Yeah.
But then it all shattered when I really wanted sausages.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, at the time, like, it was the lesser days of having like proper substitutes, so I couldn't get a proper sausage replacement. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with having like some meat. Like in some ways, like some people need meat in like their. I mean, we all need like protein in our diet, to an extent. But I think my issue is like most of the time meat is just not like cooked or used in the best of ways, and it's also a lot of it is like wasted too. Like I think about all the like meat that you see at stores and stuff that ends up just being like thrown in the trash, and that makes me sad because like these animals had to give their lives for this meat and it's just getting thrown in the trash. Like it
well,
there's
like,
people hungry.
my mom will literally suck shit off of the bone, whereas other family members leave a lot of meat bone, and it's like, just don't have the bone on the meat on the bone. Then
Yeah.
I almost did a Danganronpa there.
The bone on the meat.
Yeah, the meat on the meat bone.
Yeah, heck yeah. Also,
the bone on the meat bone.
yeah, Rolf, I'm at the same thought as you in that like the way that our current societies like process meat and do all that stuff is totally not great at all. It really
I do like the fact that for some reason, like, people outside of Europe, or even, well, I guess it's just America at this point, is grossed out by the fact that we use every single part of the animal. So that includes the blood, it includes the offal, it's what haggis is made of, etc. Using every piece of the animal and enjoying it all.
Yeah.
And like you have multiple Asian countries that literally have a pork belly or like pig's feet soup kind of thing. Like, if you're gonna eat animals, at least use every single part of it rather than throwing it away.
Yeah.
And definitely use the bones for broth, because that shit is delicious.
Heck yeah, it's so true. The bones are very good for broth.
Yep.
But yeah, like, I mean, originally, like, even here in America, like, the Native Americans, like, when they would hunt and, like, kill an animal, like, they would, you know, give thanks to the nature and really, like, show respect to the animal that they just killed and like then use every part of it, like the fur for clothes, the bones and the blood and the meat and everything for various things, including weapons and other things. Whereas now, like, there's so much food that is in stores and stuff that just gets like thrown away, especially like a lot of meat and whatnot. And it's especially sad, like, it's sad for the animals, of course, that basically in a way gave their lives for nothing, but it's also sad in the sense that there's tons of people out there starving right now, and instead of like giving the leftovers,
don't even get me started.
like they could easily just give the like, it's like if they just gave that food while it's still only just like slightly old to like people who need the food, like it would be so much better, but they don't. They just throw it away in landfills and stuff, and it's like, what the heck?
I kind of get the issue too, in some ways, because by doing that, they are also mitigating the fact that some people, they can't like take a responsibility for someone getting sick from their products.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's just getting rid of that chance in the first place, because there are people from the world that even though they literally ate something out of the bin, they're like, oh, this made me sick, I'm going to sue the company.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's like always, it's the few to ruin it for the many.
Yeah,
So
it's true. Rolf said, to put into perspective, humanity kills 2,000 chickens, 40 pigs, 10 cows, and even 3 goddamn sharks every second. That's insane.
yeah.
That's scary. After gorging...
I do eat a lot of chicken nuggets, so...
Yeah. Well, again, it's like the issue is not like the fact of eating it necessarily, but just how it's all done and how much is wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, to compare, about 2 humans die per second. Yeah. I mean, in the end, like, humans in general are just like really
Parasites.
Yeah, kind of, because like, you know, constantly tearing down nature so that you can build houses, build roads, build other structures all over the place. And then also, like, even when you're not talking about like animals, like plants are living creatures too, and yet like you have humans constantly mistreating the plants as well, and like taking stuff from the plants without doing anything to give back and stuff. That, and yeah, we could find balance, we have the technology, but like it's not
And that's the thing too, is that it is really cute that monkeys like steal from villages and stuff like that, and even have like little monkey gangs and whatever else, but like they wouldn't even have that if humans hadn't have taken down their ecosystem and just torn through it and built houses around where they had been for centuries. But hey, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is, like, it all the time, like, the issue is that, as long as we live in a society that focuses on, like, getting monetary gain, like, that's just what's gonna happen. Because the reason all this is happening is not because it has to be this way, but because, like, it's the best way to get the most money. Like, it's all about greed. And so the fact that we live in the kind of societies that we do is kind of why everything's falling apart the way it does. Because even though we have the technology to live better lives, to have less pollution, to have better electricity and things like that, and better cars and better like ways of dealing with food and other things, it just won't happen because the main companies that get the most money profit off of the existing reality that we live in. And if we change that, they wouldn't profit as much. And so they don't want this to happen because they care more about profiting off of all the suffering and whatnot than making the world a better place.
It's basically why, like, weed is blocked here, even though it is proven to be safe. It doesn't really hurt anybody. The only reason, really, that it's not allowed is because they wouldn't make profit off over all their drugs that they sell to people in order to give them happy pills.
Yeah.
So, even though America itself is a country that's full of that shit, but they allow people to consume meat regularly. So,
Yep.
because they can make money out of it. Wow, amazing.
Yep. That's true. And yeah,
It's
no worries,
it's that
Wolf.
whole thing of like it's like that whole thing of like, would you rather that, because there's these laws, it's like people aren't going to stop doing this shit. So would you rather it is illegal and you can't claim taxes off that shit, or rather it would be legal and you can get money pouring into the government? Which would you like?
Yeah.
Which would you prefer? I would think it's the money going to you, right?
And also, if it's legal, you can regulate it, and so in the long run, it's better for everybody involved because it's not just going all over the place.
Exactly.
Because then people could get like legitimate tested versions of like those drugs or whatever they're trying to get, instead of just some random thing from Steve in the alleyway that could be laced with something. What was that, Lulu?
I was answering Rolf.
I see.
I was gonna say it, but then I put it in the chat instead.
I see.
Because yeah, you can legally grow it, at least water plants, but you can't sell it. So you can't have edibles and stuff like that being sold at like cafes would be in the Netherlands, or like getting it on prescription like you can in Canada and the US.
Yeah. Which is, it's kind of an issue because some people actually need things like cannabis and whatnot for like medical conditions as well. So it makes...
Yes, hello, hi.
Yeah, yep. Yep.
Like, one of my old friends, he had arthritis, he had so many issues, he had psoriasis, etc., that had him constantly in pain, but the one thing that helped was the fact that he could grow and consume his own weed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he couldn't get it on prescription or anything. Like, he had to go out and grow his own plants. So,
yeah. I mean, for me, Rolf,
yeah, like, my thing is that, yes, I get the whole recreational drug use, but at the same time, making it difficult for people like me who may need it medically is not helping anybody.
Yeah. Well, and I also this kind of goes into what I was saying earlier, but like if even if it's not legalized, people are still going to get it. Sometimes even more so because of the
Like I said, yeah.
like, oh, it's a thing you can't normally get, so we gotta get it because it makes us edgy and stuff to get it and blah blah blah. Whereas if you do legalize it but like regulate it, then people will get it, but now it'll be like regulated and tested and whatnot, so you're not just getting it from Steve in a random back alleyway that could be laced with like whatever. And this is coming from somebody like, I don't do recreational drugs really at all except for coffee. Caffeine's like the only thing I do. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do any of that because for me, I just personally, I don't like how a lot of those drugs make me feel. I like having full control over myself, so I prefer stimulants like caffeine because that makes me feel more in tune with myself as opposed to being less. But even though I personally don't use those things, I know a lot of people either like to use those things for fun or like for medical reasons too. And I think overall it's safer if you can regulate it, make it something that people can access, but regulate it, and then that way everybody's happy. Because
the most dangerous the weed can get is because people are selling it while adding other stuff to it, rather than it being in its purest form.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only danger that weed provide, because people are undercutting it.
Yeah.
Whereas you then get literally, I have ADHD medication right now, and it has meth in it. You know, it has other stimulants in it, and I'm told, we have to be careful in case you get addicted. And like, okay.
Heck yeah, Rolf. Sugar is the best.
But yeah, we really need to work through the medical system and just weed out all the stigma and just bring out all of the science that has been made, all of the research that's been done since then. Go to the government and be like, look at all this shit, why you need this for it?
The problem is, though, about that is that so many people are in the government who don't believe in science. Like, that's kind of an
luckily
issue.
Those people are dying out, so
I don't know, because there's still young people who are like that.
Luckily, a lot of those parts of the government are dying out, and more of the government is becoming people that are younger and know better.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes,
but yes,
because
there are still people, mostly from older government families, that are still like, oh, this is dangerous, we should block this.
Yeah, because I'm just like, you know, there's of course, like, all the stuff about how here, like, Roe versus Wade was overturned, Roe v. Wade, and now, like, tons of states are having to fight for women's rights again for the 5 billionth time. And there's so many studies and, like, things happening at this very moment that showcase how having, like, making things like abortion illegal literally leads to people dying. And because, like, that care helps so many people for so many different issues, and that by taking that away, it's literally killing people. but those people just don't care, or like they think that the science is all rigged and stuff. Like there's so many times where like the main issue is it doesn't matter how many like things you show to these people. It doesn't matter how much studies you show them. They're still gonna just believe their own thing because they'll just say, oh, this is all just an elaborate hoax. Like this is the government paid you to make this study with these results, and the actual people are being silenced for their studies and stuff. Like they'll come out with all these conspiracy theories, and I know this because a lot of my relatives have literally told that kind of stuff to me, and some of them are like close to my age, and they still have said stuff like that. And that's
this is why Facebook should be banned.
Yeah. Like they'll
because
say,
it's just a breeding ground for those kinds of people who will literally skip over every piece of evidence of this certain thing being true, and then finding the 50 or so pages on a Google search of someone saying differently and being like, aha! This one person says this thing
Yeah,
that is
exactly.
different to your opinion, so
Yeah.
it must be true.
I saw this thing on like I was looking at different like news articles, and one was talking about like climate change stuff, and like how more people are thinking like there's problems with electronic cars when those problems are mostly exaggerated and whatnot. And there's this, like in one of those articles, there was like this group of like people, Republicans, who like they believe in climate change, but they don't think it's like global warming stuff. And like the person who was writing the article like asked like one of the members like, oh, so then what do you think it is? And the guy's like, well, I'm not a scientist, and I'm like sitting there like, are you for real right now?
Then shut up!
Yeah, then shut up!
Then shut up! If you're not a scientist, shut the fuck up!
Yeah, like, you can't say, like, oh, they're all wrong.
Any
say, like, well, I don't
start,
have...
I'm not something, or I believe this, but anything where the thing starts with a blah blah blah, but I'm immediately shut down because...
Yeah. Well, it's just, to me, it's like, again, I think I probably said this before, but my biggest pet peeve is, like, the thing that I hate the most is hypocrisy. Like, you can have different opinions, you can believe in different things, like, that's a good thing. It's a good thing that we all have different opinions and that we believe in different things, because, like, if we all believed in the same thing, like, that would... I mean, for one thing, it would be boring, but also we wouldn't get as much, like, progress and change and stuff because we wouldn't have, like, those dialogues, and, like, that's a good thing. But my issue is when people get so wrapped up in their own, like, beliefs and ideas and whatnot that they don't even see their own hypocrisies and won't listen to anybody. Because, like, for me personally, there's been times where, like, I've been proven wrong on things, just like anybody else. But I don't try and, like, put my foot down and go, oh, I'm still right. Like, I'll go, oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. It's actually this. Let me clarify. Let me correct that. And I feel like that's something that most people just don't have the ability to do anymore. It's, I'm right, everybody else is wrong, and that's it.
I think the most annoying people are the people who insist on not vaccinating children, but you turn around and you ask, oh, are you vaccinated? And they're like, yes. And then they go on to say, but I've never been sick, I've never had this and that and this, and it's like, yeah, because you've been vaccinated, you dumb cunt.
Yeah. Yep. I definitely... Yeah, I feel like part of it is, like... I'm sad to say this, but I think maybe the general population might be kind of stupid.
Oh, they are.
Like, every single time I'm like, how does this not go through your guys' heads? How are you not connecting the dots here? I don't understand. like, first of all, how do you not see how much of a hypocrite you are? How do you not see the logical fallacies of the arguments you're making? And how can you not...
And the arguments are so fucking annoying, because it's like, yeah... I think autism, ADHD, etc. existed long before we even had vaccinations, so your point is mute.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
And even if it did, you're a asshole, so I don't want to talk to you anyway, because you're clearly ableist.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is, again, it all comes down to a post from Tumblr that I quote all the time, which is, I don't know how to explain to you that you should care about other people, because the majority of all these things a lot of times comes down to the fact of, I am thinking about this or caring about this because I am thinking and caring about those other individuals. Like, yeah, you can have bad experiences with...
made COVID so eye-opening, because I already dislike people, but then you have these people like, oh, I don't want to get a vaccination and whatever else, because blah blah blah, my bodily autonomy and stuff like that. And it's like, what about other people?
Yeah.
They don't want to get sick either.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about.
We are protecting everyone else from you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is, like, again, it goes, I don't know how to explain that you should care about other people, is like with vaccines, it's not just about you. When you take that vaccine, you're protecting not just yourself, but everybody around you through herd immunity. Because some people don't have that choice. Some people don't have the choice of whether they can take the vaccine or not. Their bodies literally cannot take it. So even if they wanted to, they can't. And so they rely on you to make sure that they don't get sick. And so anytime you go, oh, about me, blah, 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 it's like, you don't live in a vacuum. You live with other people in this world, and you should care about those other people. And that's kind of the problem.
It's like how smallpox and the Black Death and whatever used to be major killers, but now it's much less. And yet... there's still people in the world with smallpox. There's still people that suffer from the plague. It's just doesn't kill you anymore.
Yeah.
But, like with every disease, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It means that we've built up immunity to it. The people who survived the Black Death were because they had really great genes.
Yeah.
And it's... like, but not everybody has that, and neither, like you said, can they get the vaccine in order to protect themselves. And not everybody, like myself, can just stay at home and not be able to do anything, especially key workers who didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
Like, somebody has to run the world while you're sitting at home in your bed, on your sofa. Somebody has to make that food that you've ordered online from McDonald's.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah.
So, we will give this 3 more minutes, then we're gonna move on, okay?
Yeah. The pandemic, I think, really showcased just, like, what the actual important workers are. Like, the people who get the most money, those CEOs and whatnot, they're not the important workers. The important workers are all the people who literally could not stop working despite the world having completely collapsed, because we need them even when everything stopped working. So, like, the fast food workers, the doctors, like, all of those types of people, Like,
and
they
those
were the
people are
ones.
still not appreciated enough. Like,
Yeah.
like, oh my god, it still annoys me because we had banners up that said protect the NHS and whatever else, but then lovely people who had other signs also had, and all of the people that are working retail, etc. Those, they are also key workers as well, because they still have to go into work at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They can't do much else. They can't work from home like a lot of people can.
Yeah. Yeah, as Rolf said, some of the most important jobs are paid the least, yeah, which is
Yeah.
awful.
And they also have to deal with, like teaching, have to deal with a bunch of toddlers all day.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
matter the age, because every single Karen is basically a toddler that didn't learn how to share.
Yeah, basically. And as Rolf said, humanity
Or-
goes through something terrible.
or-
Survivors go never again. They protect the ones who come after. Then time passes until the bad times are forgotten. People get lax because they don't understand how bad it used to be. Things get bad again. Yeah, exactly.
Which is exactly what happens with wars as well.
Yeah.
It just happens with everything bad that happens in life.
Yeah.
People go through that. They try to make their children's lives better. Other people don't, because they get really jealous that their kid has it better than them. Like, isn't that the entire point?
Yeah.
And then they start to forget their own history, because the people that live that stuff, like, we're currently living this, we're going to die off, and well, I won't have any, but our ancestors are going to, no, not ancestors, our predecessors, no, not predecessors, whatever, the people after us are most likely not only going to read about this on a piece of paper, well, not even a piece of paper,
Yeah.
on like a screen in front of their eyes, like Wally.
Well, I think
and
part of the problem,
because you have a whole form of distance of reading about it and watching someone portray it on screen compared to actually having lived it.
Yeah.
And that's also a sense of people, like, because there's people I knew who didn't know people who got it, or they didn't get it themselves, so they didn't understand how truly bad it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think part of the problem is that a lot of people don't, like, the one sad thing, and this is true, I think, for all people, is that we struggle to understand things unless we experience them ourselves. And,
Yeah.
like, it's, like, you don't fully understand, like, death until, like, somebody close to you dies.
Yes.
Or, like, you don't really understand an illness unless you get it or someone close to you gets it. Because, like, we're so, like, based, like, we are our experiences in our life. And so if we don't experience a thing, then it's pretty likely to lead to people, like, repeating terrible things because they didn't experience it and don't know what it's like. And
like you and Yella are extremely lucky to still have both of your parents.
yeah.
And I hope you, unfortunately you most likely will, but I hope you don't get to go through the pain and grief of losing a parent until you're much older.
Yeah.
And not around the age that I was. So, or Vicky, who was like 15 when our dad died, so it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Big
But anyway,
hugs. Oh yeah, as Rolf said,
We
parents try
should-
to give their kids advice to avoid the mistakes they made, but the kids don't actually understand and appreciate the advice until they go through it themselves. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for your loss, Rolf. Big hugs. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry for your friend's loss.
Yeah. But I think that's why I appreciate the way my parents did it, where they kind of let me make my own choices even when I was a kid. Like, they never treated me, I feel like parents a lot of times like see kids as like something
Extensions of
yeah,
themselves.
either
or
extension or like a mini human instead of a full-on human, or like a doll that they can shape and create. But my parents...
Oh, I didn't manage to become a ballet dancer, so now it's your job to become
Yeah.
it for me, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas my parents, like, even when, ever since I can remember, they always treated me as an equal, as, like, just another human being with her own, like, thoughts and emotions and ideas and plans and things like that. And so, like, they would let me make my own choices and make my own mistakes, and then they would be there to, like, help me through it instead of, you know, trying to, like, keep me from doing those things in the first place. And not only did that make it so that I could experience those things, but it also made it so I never really had, like, a rebellious phase or anything like that, because I always had, like, a mutual respect between me and my parents, where they always treated me as like an equal person, so it wasn't really a thing that I had to go through because I never had like those restrictions put on me. And I think that kind of helped me out in the long run. And it also made it so that I, like, trusted my parents to, like, talk and get advice and get help in ways that I feel like a lot of other kids don't really have with their parents. But the struggle is that, my, like, going off the idea of, like, kids not realizing what their predecessors had to go through, my parents are both liberals like me, but my siblings are sadly conservative, just like the rest of my family. And they have like these notions about like Russia, that like, oh, Putin is actually like great or like whatever, because my sister talks to her dad, who lives in Russia, and my brother talked to his dad while he was alive, while living in like he's also from Russia. And so like they'll, to my mom's face, like talk about actually Putin's doing these good things for people over there, and like I like talk about how great Russia is. And like it honestly, like sometimes I want to like just fight my own siblings, because it just makes me so sad for my mom, because I'm like, do you guys not realize like how cruel you're being to my mom for doing this? Because my mom literally sacrificed everything to get my brother and sister out of Russia because of how terrible it was over there. Like, she tells me memories about how she would have to wait in a line just to get a single loaf of bread at the grocery store. Like, they would have to wait in a line to get one. And she was upper class. Like, she had direct ties to high level people in the government and everything, and she still was in that position because of that's just how bad things were over there. And if she stayed there, my brother would have been forced to join the army, because they have like the mandatory
they do
draft.
they do conscription.
And like, she didn't want him to have to go into the draft, and she wanted a better life for my sister, my brother, and so she sacrificed everything to come over here, even though that meant that she basically didn't really get to live out her dreams. Like, she was somebody important in Russia, and then she came here and was a lot of times like looked down upon for not being American. Like, she actually hates it how people will be like, so where are you from? Like, she'll literally say, I'm from Kansas. Because she hates that people always ask her that stuff. Like, she hasn't lived here for many years. Just because she has an accent, and because she sees it as them like looking down on her. And now both my brother and my sister are very well off. Like, my sister is pretty affluent, like more affluent than us. Like, she has a big house, she has tons of stuff. Like she's definitely like upper middle class, if not upper class. And my brother is also doing really well. He has his own place. He's like has a good job. He's upper management of that too, and yet neither of them show any like sense of being grateful for them getting those opportunities because of what my mom did. And instead they talk about how great Russia is and stuff, as if mom didn't do everything just to make sure they could have a better life here. And
they really need something knocked into them of being like, do you really think that you'd have the life you have now if you were over there?
I literally, my mom has stated that like in her worst moment, some of her worst moments, she sometimes thinks like maybe maybe she should have had them still stay in Russia and experience what it was like over there instead of taking them when they were really young. But of course, like, she still loves both my siblings, and I love them too a lot, but it's just something that does make me mad a lot of the time. Yeah, exactly, Rolf, exactly. But yeah, so, and
there's having an appreciation for where you came from, and then there's just praising stuff you know isn't right, and it's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
There's having an appreciation for the motherland, and then there's thinking bad stuff that's being done is okay, and it's not.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we should continue onward.
I said we'd stop this like 10 minutes ago.
So true.
That was 10 minutes ago when I said we'd have a couple of more minutes.
Yep. After gorging herself on snacks,
finish the sentence.
Hannah fell asleep on the sofa, looking well and truly satisfied. Oh my god. I think the controller, in the middle of all that, I think the controller disconnected.
Because you weren't using it for ages. It's like, oh, you guess you're not using me. I'll turn off.
Yeah, exactly. No. No, it's now wanting me to just use the keyboard. I don't know the keyboard controls. You know what? I'll have to X out. Unless I can... If I knew what the keyboard controls... whatever. We sat on that screen for ages. Only for me to have to reset this anyway. The struggle is real.
Uh...
I've played for 44 hours already of this game. Crazy.
And by the time I finished it, I had over 100, so...
Oh boy. Crazy.
But then again, like I've said before, I did all the bad ends and stuff like that, so we probably won't spend that long.
Yeah. My job of derailing the stream with depressing discourse is done. Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Like I said earlier, it most likely would have happened anyway at some point, so...
Yeah.
It usually does during these streams.
Blah 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 blah.
Uh,
Blah 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 blah. Daddy, I'm hungry. I like that you can see on the screen.
That's like
that
the
she was
little drawings
yeah.
she was doing on the screen, yeah. And doing some typing as well.
Yeah. Same brain. You know, Midorikawa, Hana's happiness means more to me than my lofty artistic ideals ever could. Toyama kept his voice low as he regarded his daughter's sleeping face. And from that day forward, Heaven Publishing has shifted its focus to scandal rags, with 4-star general gossip as its pillar. Had that been for good or for ill? Whatever the case, Toyama had abandoned his pride. Minorikawa had watched him become more and more of a miserable wretch. Minorikawa snapped back into the present as a sheaf of pages appeared in front of his face. "Here you go," Chiaki said, radiating anxiety.
Right.
Minorikawa
For some reason, Discord decided to take me out of the stream window.
Oh no! Oof.
I had to get back into it just to read that word.
Yeah, just to read right. Minorikawa gave her copy a close read over
Right.
and thrust it back out to her. Azure said, "Derail it more. I want to see them playing this in 2026. Heck yeah."
No, thank you.
What did you even fix?
Could you please tell me what parts are wrong?
See, I'm not sure who's saying that last line.
Oh, it's him. It's him.
Is it?
I think so. I think he's being like, "What are you talking about?" And then she's like,
What are you talking about?
"It's just, well, we don't have a lot of time here, so I figure if I just fix the parts that need fixing."
Is that always how you go about fixing your copy?
Yes?
Then you're never going to get any better. If someone tells you no good, you rewrite the whole thing from scratch. Just making fiddly tweaks here and there is what an amateur does.
Chiaki dipped her head even deeper, cringing at the reprimand. Minorikawa let out a tiny sigh.
Look, what I just told you, that's what Toyama told me when I was first starting out. There were times he'd have me do dozens of rewrites. At first I thought he was just pushing me around. But after rewriting things over and over, I realized something. There are a lot of ways you can write about the same thing. And that's what helped me hone my skills as a writer.
Chiaki raised her head back up. Oh, wow, really?
If you can get that, then stick with it. Write your submission deadline as close as you can in order to write the best piece you can.
Okay, I'll do it. I will do it. Finally, Chiaki's face brightened with a smile.
That's the spirit.
The woman might have talent, but she hadn't realized it yet. She needed to be able to stick to an assignment, even when things got tough. If she didn't have that kind of resolve, she'd never make it as a freelancer. Oh, how touching, Ozu chimed in, applauding. I'm almost moved to tears. They'll make a movie out of this, for sure. See, we had only been acquainted with that sad sap Toyama. We never knew there was such an upstanding fellow here who was so good at tough love. Narrator, Chiaki was fired the next day. Minorikawa shot to his feet and pounded the fist on the desk.
That's about enough that from the peanut gallery.
Hold your tongue. Sagawa snarled, his eyes shone with a vicious gleam. We're getting sick of waiting here. Sagawa, you really are a short-tempered guy, aren't you? Ozu chuckled. Ozu clucked disapprovingly at his underling, then slid a sheet of paper onto Minorikawa's desk. Nevertheless, I'm afraid we do require a decision, now. If you'll just stamp here, we'll be on our way. Chiaki stared down at the document. Is this a bond of recognizance?
Recognizance. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's what you write when you're transferring a debt. Sagawa puffed himself up proudly. Minorikawa silently looked over the contract. If you don't have a stamp, we'll gladly accept a signature as well. Face it, pal, if you don't hurry up and sign, we're never gonna stop going after Toyama's daughter. Minorikawa snatched up a pen. Mr. Mino, you can't do this! Think about what you're doing! If you go through with this, you'll just wind up like Mr. Toyama!
I won't.
He's been served divorce papers. Yes, you will!
Who the hell you think I am? I'm Minoru Minakawa, damn it! I'm gonna let so many scoops will make your head spin, and I'm gonna pay back this debt and rebuild Heaven Publishing!
But why would you take such a risk?
Because I'm not giving the debt to a child.
Yeah, Chiaki sobbed. Minorikawa lowered his voice.
I owe him so much. I can't stand by and let these scumbags kill his daughter.
Pretty sure they're not gonna kill her. They're just gonna work her to death.
Yeah. That watch does not look very functional. Minorikawa ready.
Watch toes.
Minorikawa readied his pen and signed the document. Alright, now we're talking. A satisfied grin came to Ozu's face as he reached for the contract. But before he could pick it up, Chiaki snatched it from the desk. Oh my god! Chiaki! Honestly, MVP. MVP. She's willing to literally eat a whole piece of paper to save Minorikawa. I'm not letting you do this! Crumbling the paper, she stuffed it right into her mouth. Yep, exactly, Rolf. Her whole outfit is a mood. Hey, He tried to force Chiaki's mouth open. Don't you dare, you bitch! But despite his frantic efforts, Chiaki managed to gulp the wallet of paper down. Sagawa
Damn,
blinked
girl got some throat game.
Yeah! Sagawa blinked a few times. Oh, you did not just do that. Ozu looked on, dumbstruck. Yep, what a trooper. Guess we gotta get a new contract for the office, boss. Bring as many as you want. I'll just keep eating them. Girl, you some kind of damn goat or something?
I mean, the mental image of protein paper is a common one dating back to long ago when paper was made solely out of plant material. If a goat were to eat modern paper, the wad of chemically treated pulp would go undigested and possibly cause intense intestinal blockage. So please do not feed paper to goats.
Yeah. She cannot be stopped. She is too powerful.
Exactly.
Sagawa shoved Chiaki up against the desk. Ow, cut it out! That hurts! As she struggled to resist, Chiaki lurched toward the desk, planting one of her hands atop the TV remote control. One of her fingers happened to land on the volume up button. And let me guess, it's when they say that actually the person who died was Tanaka.
Yes.
The sound from the television set soon hit max volume. We've just
learned the identity of the victim killed in the explosion. Shibuya resident and a pharmaceutical executive.
Shibuya resident? Minorikawa tilted his head in confusion. Toyama didn't live in Shibuya.
Once again, the victim of the explosion was Shibuya resident and pharmaceutical company executive Mamoru Tanaka. The cause of the explosion remains unknown. The police are still in the process of following up several potential leads. The site of the incident remains an alarming scene, with the relief workers continuing to tend to the wounded.
The four people in the editing office spoke in near unison.
Huh?
Who's Tanaka?
Who's Tanaka?
Yeah, the ball guy really went all out. To be continued. So that's another one done for the hour.
Yep. And it took us 2 hours to do.
Yep. Because we talked for like 5 billion years.
For like half an hour.
Let's now do Kano, which will hopefully let us jump to Maria. And I think we read all this as well. Blah 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 blah.
Good on you. Good on you.
It's weird that it made us go all the way back to here for this.
Yeah, it does that a lot.
Because we've already read all of this. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and we already answered this question too, so it's weird.
Yep.
And we picked the right one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's just that we hadn't done the other stuff, so it led to a bad ending, so
Yeah.
you can choose the same one. While you're skipping through this, I'm gonna get a snack, so...
Okie doke. Oh my god, this is so much that we're having to skip through. They really brought us back for this one. Because you could see that we even looked at all the little side things for all of this. Like, it's crazy that it put us back this far for Kano after we fixed it. I think this is still the right choice, I think. Possibly. I don't think the other option was important, but I mean, maybe. You know what? I'm gonna give her a call again. I think this time it'll be okay. The phone rings several times before it went to voicemail. Yeah, and then this happens. To Tenno calls. This is so weird that I'm having to skip through this much. Blah 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 blah.
I thought it'd taken too long, but you're still skipping.
Yeah, I'm still skipping. It's literally this much that I'm having to skip through, which is insane.
Yep.
It's so crazy that they put us this far back.
Alright.
Like, I can't, like, this doesn't make sense that it would put us that far back, but okay. Like, I literally went through several choices already to get here, and it's still going through it.
Like, you have to get to a certain point to even be able to unlock Minorukawa to get him to not be there, so...
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah. No wonder this game takes 100 hours.
Yep.
I mean, normally it's much better than this. I don't know why this particular time they put it so far back. Maybe they just really wanted to build up this scene again.
Yeah.
Wait, almost messed up. There we go. Whee!
Well, at least it will have saved it that time.
Yeah. Yeah, we found out what her t-shirt says the last time. What was... Let me look it up again. I remember I found a post, like a forum post that revealed what was on the t-shirt.
Yeah, it was some Anglish kind of word.
Yeah. It was...
Japanese people really like stuff that has English on that they don't understand.
Yeah.
Because the shirt's originally Japanese and then they translate it really poorly into English. I'm gonna read this. I hear a faint voice and realise that the man is listening to a wireless radio.
Oh wait, yeah, I found it. Yeah, it says something like, "Go down, smokin' MJ, RUT head.
Yep.
Or no. Yeah, RUT head. Yeah.
Yeah. RUT head.
So it's
Basically,
a marijuana.
it's like, are you down to smoke drugs? Are you a pothead kind of thing? Because this they got they got the second half of the teapot part.
I've managed to secure Hitomi Osawa at Shibuya Central Hospital.
A gleam comes to the good man's eyes.
Reminds me of this classic. Yes! I love this shirt! This is one of my favorite shirts of all time! I love this shirt! Rolf, I hope one day I can get this shirt. This is, anytime somebody makes like like there's tons of memes where people take characters from shows and they put it on this shirt, and I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Born to Die, World is a Fuck, Kill 'Em All, 1989, I Am Trash Man, and then like a gajillion dead cops. I love it. I love it. It's such a perfect shirt. It's so good. Oh, there's never been a more perfect graphic tee than that. He pulls his cell phone from his jacket and hurriedly makes a call.
I'm meant to be reading that.
Oh yeah, sorry. I've secured Maria Osawa.
He says to whoever's on the other end. Huh? Maria Osawa? Is my name Maria Osawa? No.
You need to bring Hitomi Osawa to my location at once.
Hitomi Osawa? If I'm Maria Osawa, what sort of relationship do I have to Hitomi?
Ave Maria! Yeah, I would probably get arrested in the US if I tried to wear it, but I would still like to have it, like, displayed somewhere. Like, it's... If I had a shirt... If I got that shirt, I wouldn't wear it. Like, not even if like, arresting or anything wasn't a problem, I would still not wear it just because it would get ruined over time if I wore it. So, I would just keep it as, like... an item of clothing I want to keep. If you don't bring her, I'll kill Maria.
Then my captor hangs up. Were you serious just now? My voice wavers uncontrollably. What do you mean you'll kill me?
Don't look at me like that.
He steps in closer to me, its expression dangerous.
Yeah, he is very tall.
Or she's very small.
Yeah, one or the
that
other.
That killer's edge that he'd lost during our little talk is back in full force.
Just bear with me a little longer.
He blindfolds my eyes with some sort of towel. I can't see through it at all. Just then, I hear Kanan's voice inside my head. My memories are like shards of glass, broken glass, tumbling through my mind all out of sequence.
I think that's Kanan.
Yeah, I'm getting the voice.
Ah, I see.
During this, you can read the narration because I'm going to be talking to myself.
Heck yeah.
How are you able to do that when the string is so tangled up?
Once you know the trick to it, you can do it with your eyes closed.
I'm showing Kanan how to do a cat's cradle. She reaches out for the string.
Huh?
She doesn't get hold of it quite right.
What the gives?
Despite her efforts, the string gets all jumbled up.
No, not like that. Hook your index fingers through the front part of the string. No, I get that.
Kanan's getting irritated. But after giving it a few more tries, she finally manages to pull it off.
There we go. No, wrong voice. There we go. Look at that.
Seeing her innocent little smile bolsters my own spirits.
That's neat. Thanks for teaching me. Oh, it's nothing special. Here, as a thanks, let me teach you some skills to how to protect yourself.
Kanan and Maria is the OTP.
Uh-huh. Abruptly, my memory jumped forward a bit. Kanan has been training me in some form of self-defense.
Techniques for protecting oneself when attacked. Rather than defeating the opponent, self-defense training generally prioritizes simply getting oneself away from danger. Some people consider behavioral tenets such as run away when you're attacked or don't go near dangerous places to be forms of self-defense as well.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Heck yeah.
Don't overthink it. People will either try to punch you, kick you, or grab you. If you can stay steady for those three things, you'll be able to take it from there.
She demonstrates some defensive movements as I watch. I follow suit, doing my best to mimic her.
Oh, I'm not sure which of them said that, so...
I think it was Maria saying, okay, let's do this.
Okay. Okay, let's do this.
The best self-defense is good cardio, heck yeah. Running away. Kanan throws a punch at me. I dodge, grab her by the wrist, and give her arm a hard twist. Incredibly, she goes whirling through the air. She lands nimbly on her feet, a little grin coming to her face.
Nicely done.
I stare down at my own hand.
Did I really just do that? Once you repeat the movements enough, your body will treat them like second nature.
I do as she says, trying to repeat the movements over and over. At first it feels like a silly gimmick, but eventually I can feel the motions growing smoother.
There you go. People like those thugs we met before want to get the drop on you again.
And it's why she was able to defeat Miku, was because she had this abilities.
Oops, now my memory is further back into the past. Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
I was wandering the streets trying to get back to my hotel, but I'd gotten lost. By the time I realized I'd wandered into some dodgy back streets, I was already surrounded by people giving me threatening looks. They must have been thugs looking for tourists to rob. If they'd caught me, I'm not sure I would have made it out alive. But they hadn't. Kanan had seen to that. I just put an Oreo in my mouth. Thank you so much for what you did for me. I didn't want that to be seen here.
Kanan says bluntly as she surveys the aftermath of the thug's attack.
That's all.
I happened to be right underneath her apartment window when I was nearly abducted. Bit by bit, my memories of Kanan are starting to resurface. Like, this is literally like a trope where, like, when somebody loses their memory, the first person that they remember is, like, a person that they're in love with.
Uh-huh.
And so this is so, like,
Gay.
heck yeah. Like, they're the couple, the OTP. Just a little more, and I'll have myself back, I'm sure of it. Detective Tateno, where are you? A man's voice suddenly...
Man's voice suddenly snaps me back into the moment.
It's Kano, I come as you asked.
A good man grabs me by the arm and yanks me to my feet.
Where is Satomi Osawa? Why didn't you bring her? Detective Tateno, why are you doing this? Is that really Maria?
My captor removed my blindfold. First thing I see is a huge blimp drifting slowly by overhead. Huh. I'm sure I've seen it before. And pretty recently at that.
Huh. I wonder
That's the blimp with the Ayakamiki over it.
Yeah.
On it.
I wonder if the... Oh, I see. I bet, like, some of the people behind this are in that blimp. And that's how they're, like, overseeing everything. Time to shoot down the blimp.
There's a flash of revelation inside my head, like a dam bursting. My memories come flooding back to me.
Turn on the thing!
Last night, I was at a party. I saw a mixer with the exchange students. John was plotting to use this party as an opportunity to abduct my sister, he told me. So I told Hitomi that the party started 1 hour later than it really did. I had a plan. To let myself get abducted in Hitomi's place. Of course, the idea wasn't just to let myself get kidnapped. The necklace I wore was outfitted with a tiny GPS. Wherever I happened to be taken, Kanan would be able to track my location. What we hadn't counted on, though, was my necklace getting torn off when I was attacked. And it getting stolen by a certain little shit.
Yeah.
I managed to grab hold of it, but I hit my head when I was shoved into the car and it slipped from my grasp. I'm not sure how far we drove after that. In my fuzzy memories, I recall gazing blearily out the car window. That's when I saw the blimp, right after we parked.
And I think this is Tanaka. Yes, it went fine.
It's a man talking to someone on a cell phone.
Alright, I'll shut her up inside the storeroom. I'll be waiting in the room upstairs.
The man dragged me out of the car and shoved me into some dark storeroom. Then, I guess for good measure, he hit me on the head again. That's right. There's more of it coming back to me now.
Her poor brain. All the brain damage.
Yes, this is the hour of of getting a whole load of information at once.
Yep.
You've spent your life living in a country at peace, in Japan. You couldn't possibly understand me.
Kanan again.
None again.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, you continue.
Kanan again. So it's not like she and I became fast friends right away or anything. The two of us were too different in a lot of ways.
Where do you draw the line? What would you protect with your life? What does justice mean to you?
A forlorn look came to her face whenever Kanan asked me a new question, and I never had a good answer for any of them. My flimsy grasp on my own personal identity made it hard for us to get along, yet I kept visiting Kanan's place for the duration of my trip. I recall doing the cat's cradle there at the table one time when we didn't have anything in particular to talk about. Her eyes had gone wide when she saw me deftly manipulating the string with my fingers.
Do you have to do that? My mother. My real mother, that is.
Kanan furrowed her brow.
What do you mean, real? As opposed to my stepmother, I mean. My birth mother died after getting really sick. I was only 5 years old, so I don't remember her that well.
Oh, so there was a different
Yep.
person out besides I see.
Yeah.
That's always how it is.
I see.
Her expression remained unchanged. That's how these this always goes. The mother was sickly and died when I was very young.
What about your parents, Kanan? I don't have any. They died during the war.
The bluntness of her response made my parents stop, the string still stretched between them. Sensing that we were treading on some serious ground, I hurried to change the subject.
Do you have any friends? No. Well, I used to have one.
Her use of the past tense made me fear the worst, and I was right.
He was killed too, by an arms dealer named Alfred.
Oh, the name again. Also, it's almost 5, so it's almost time for the direct if we want to watch a direct, or if we just want to keep going with this. I'm fine either way.
I thought that was at 11 my time.
No, it said Sony State of Play 6 p.m. ET, which would mean 5 p.m. here, I think. Oh wait, no! I'm looking at the wrong clock. I'm looking at the wrong
you
clock.
are.
I'm looking at the ET clock on my computer still. So actually,
Yeah,
we have
wrong
plenty
one,
of time.
Anya. You're
We
in
have
the
plenty-
wrong place now.
Yeah, we have plenty of time, actually.
Yeah, we have another hour.
Yeah. Oh no! My controller! Disconnected.
It's like, oh no, I guess you're stopping, so it's time to stop.
Big beef.
So I was like, oh, you're stopping the game? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, blah 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 blah. Her tone was dry, matter of fact.
Taking revenge for his life is my sole purpose in life.
Despite the gravity of her words, her face was an unreadable mask. She seemed almost incapable of human emotion.
So, what sort of person is this Alphard? A destructionist who masquerades as a terrorist.
Destructionist? That sure wasn't a term that came up a lot back in Japan.
Alphard doesn't believe in God, and holds no political ideology. Idolatry. The chaos and disruption is just to earn money in order to carry out more terrorist acts. So you're saying this Alphard commits terrorism because it's fun? That's every now and then, Alphard changes loyalties. Just when you think you found ties to some Middle Eastern terrorist organization, it turns out the job was for the American CIA. What the heck? So, Alphard stands for nothing then?
Kanan smiled dismissively at my little childish outburst. I couldn't help but feel a bit patronized. I twiddled my fingers, turning my cat's cradle into a bridge. Kanan's eyes fixed right back on the string. A tiny surge of pride replaced my annoyance. She went quiet, watching closely as I worked my fingers. The tension in the room faded as the silence between us lengthened.
My stepmother is the sort of person who can do this sort of thing.
For some reason, I had a sudden urge to talk about my personal life.
I guess she cares about herself more than looking after her children. She's not a bad person, though. She gives me weird bits of advice, like telling me to find someone to date, or that a woman's life is defined by a man. It's not like I hate her or anything.
She sounds awful.
Would you mind teaching me? What? How to find a guy to date? No.
Then she pointed to the cat's cradle strung between my fingers.
Oh, you mean this? So I took it by the hand and started to teeter the cat's cradle. Hey, do you mind if I ask you something? What's that? That friend you mentioned earlier. What was he like?
Kanan's fingers went still.
It's better if you don't ask. Tell you, you won't want to come here anymore. That's not true. Even though I'm a terrorist?
One who uses fear and violence to obtain political objectives. The term has its origins in the Reign of Terror in the 18th century France, known in French as the Terreur. I think I pronounced that wrong, but okay. Hi, Owen. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? I love ya.
Good night, Rolf.
And good night, Rolf.
Hi,
I love
Owen.
ya. See you later. Have a good night. I swallowed a sudden lump in my throat, unable to find words.
We fight for righteousness, but you people call us terrorists. Am I wrong?
In the religious sense, the state of being virtuous, free of sin, and observant of the proper rules of moral conduct. Not the same as being in the right, though many people equate the two.
But I mean, you protected me. All I did was take down some thugs. I just didn't want them around.
What could I say to that? I just stammered.
Nah, I'm just messing with you. Huh?
Kanan flashed me another slight condescending grin.
Just joking. Don't worry about it.
But I didn't get the sense that everything she'd said was a joke. Even if calling herself a terrorist was an exaggeration, the world Kanan lived in was unquestionably a dangerous one. I could tell from the cold look in her eyes, a look you'd never expect from an ordinary teenage girl. Just what sort of hardships had she endured to acquire that deadly stare? And she has the same tattoo that the guys have.
Mm-hmm.
Having lived all my life in peaceful Japan, I could scarcely imagine. Kanan tried and failed several times to get the cat's cradle right, but she didn't give up. She worked fastidiously by herself. Fingers continued to shift awkwardly about.
Okay, here we go.
She hooked the string around her fingers and spread her palms. But the string shape just collapsed into a jumbled mess.
Confound it. Okay, one more time. You can make this into a game with 2 people, you know. You pass the string back and forth. Why don't we try that? It's more fun than doing it by yourself.
Heck yeah. I wrapped the string around my fingertips.
What do you say? Want to give it a joke? A go?
Kanan looked dubious. The intricately intertwined strings were like the world in a way. We had started as a single thread. What had started as a single thread was now something that couldn't be undone just by pulling on it. I held my hands out, twirling the string around my fingers. Kanan took the pattern from me and spread her palms apart.
Girl, what those fingers be doing?
Heck yeah. She made a perfect bridge between her hands. The shy grin that came to her face made her finally look like a normal girl. I followed suit with a childish little laugh of my own. They're so cute.
Yeah. And, as if in a blaze of sunshine, the fog that's been hanging over my mind finishes receding. I remember everything. My name is Maria Osawa. My sister is Hitomi Osawa. And Kanan. She's a dear friend who I met in an far-off land.
History would call them friends.
Roommates, even.
Nah.
She helped me once, and now it's my turn to help her. Close my eyes as I reflect upon these precious memories, all the dearer for having been lost. Now when I try to picture Kanan, I can do so clearly. That was the only thing we did with our fingers that night. Yeah. It's just as I thought before. My memories are what make me who I am, and I would never choose to forget them. I feel almost as if time has stopped for me while my history is gone, and I've started moving again. This is the best time, Maria, when you have a gun to your head.
Yeah.
I'm finally back to being me. And now you get to die as yourself. Yeah. Congrats.
Congrats.
And I have to go. Jumps off the building. I have to go back there one more time.
I always love it when we get the video again. Oh.
Yeah.
End of her story. And what?
Yep.
Crazy.
You'll see.
The This isn't like you. It's so weird that Detective Toteno, who I know, who you know, Toteno cut him off. What do you know about me? I know what sort of detective you are.
What do you know about me?
Because I've modeled myself after you for my whole career. The older man's expression remains stony. Don't you remember that time when you risked your life to talk down that man who barricaded himself inside that office? Ever since then, you've been my... Toteno interrupted him with a sudden burst of laughter. You really are gullible, you know that? You can only see things the way you want to see them. What do you mean by that? The truth is, I didn't even care if I died doing what I did. That's why I doused myself in gasoline. Toteno's voice had gone low and quiet. That was no display of heroics. It was more attempted suicide than anything else. I wasn't thinking about the other people still inside the building. It's just a coincidence things turned out the way they did. So then, if you'd made a single misstep, then everyone in that building might well have burned to death. You're lying! That can't be true! Kano shook his head insistently. I don't have time for this conversation.
I am your father!
No!
I'm your father! No!
Toteno pressed the barrel of his gun to Maria's head. If you don't bring Hitomi Osawa to me, believe me, I'll blow her brains out. Please stop this! But there was no hesitation in Toteno's eyes. He looked like he really would shoot Maria if Kano didn't do as he asked. Hurry up, bring Hitomi to me.
The thing is this is so funny because you know at some point that Maria is just inside her head, just just thinking of her rather than being in the situation.
Yep, basically. Could you at least tell me what's going on? Go now or so help me, I'll shoot. Or so help me.
Also happy.
Oh my god. I can't hear a line like that without thinking of all the memes. Kano drew his own gun from his jacket. I know you, Detective Toteno. I know there's some meaning behind all this. Kano's words came out as an imploring croak. You think you could shoot me? Letting out Karwan go free. Taking Maria hostage. This has to mean something. Sweat made Kano's hands slick where he clutched his gun. I asked if you think you could shoot me. I've always looked up to you. You were the sort of detective I wanted to become. Kano's view of Toteno
You were the chew!
You were the chew! Began to blur as tears welled up in his eyes. Can you shoot me, Kano?
You can't, you punk.
I can! Even as he cried, Kano stood resolutely, doing his best to stare down the older man. He set his fingers squarely on the trigger and pointed his gun at Toteno's forehead. Suddenly, the piercing stare vanished from the other detective's eyes. I've got to give you full marks for that, Kano. Toteno smiled thinly. I'll tell you then. I'll tell you why I'm doing this.
That was easy.
Yep. That was easy. It all happened 17 years ago. A meth addict had assaulted someone in Shibuya. Toteno was questioning people around Dogonzaga in search of the perp. He happened to pass by Endo Electronics. Oh, hey, Toteno! Oh, the mother. Oh, hey, Toteno! It was Kotone Endo, clad in pristine white. Clutched to her breast was her daughter, Suzune, only a few months old. It's been a long time. Yes, it has. Toteno replied with a clumsy smile of his own. Are you on the job? Yes, I am. Kotone recoiled slightly at the dour look on Toteno's face. Is something the matter? There's an armed criminal hiding out somewhere in the area. What? I wouldn't leave the shop for a while if you can avoid it. But I have to go to the bank to deposit some money. That can wait. That can wait. Surely you can have Daisuke go do it. He's away on a repair job and hasn't come back yet. Tateno let out a one-note sigh. I see Daisuke still does things his own way. Alright, let me escort you to the bank. You mean it? I'd feel a lot safer having you with me. Katone flashed him a smile so wide that Tateno thought he might lose himself in it. Tateno, Katone, and Daisuke were childhood friends and had gone to school together up through high school. Tateno and Daisuke were always clowning around together, and Katone was always there alongside them, laughing. It had been quite some time since he'd gotten to walk along Dogonzaga with Katone. How have you been lately? Well, with a newborn to look after, it's been pretty hectic, but there's never a dull moment. Things have been good. I'm glad to hear it. Katone was always as bright as a sunflower. Sometimes Tateno managed to convince himself that just the sight of her was enough. Outside the bank, Katone held Suzune out to him. Tateno received the baby with an anxious frown. What's with the face? I'm not good with babies. I haven't held one very often. Oh, you'll be fine. Don't worry. Just hold on to her for a minute while I take care of things inside. Alright. He held the baby gingerly, like it was
Dropped straight into a bin and walks away.
Yeah, like it was a bomb.
I am not babysitting your child.
That is not me. Like it was a bomb that might explode at any moment. Katone chuckled softly. Suzune stirred and squirmed into Teno's arms. She kind of has Katone's eyes, he thought. It was strange, the sensation of holding a child. She was so soft and light, and yet such a real and responsive presence. The faint warmth of her body warmed Tateno inwardly in turn.
Whereas me, dropkick.
When Katone returned after making her deposit, they strolled to a nearby park, Suzune back in her mother's arms. Do you have any plans for marriage, Tateno? I haven't thought about it. Work has me plenty busy. Oh, that's just an excuse. If there really were some woman you wanted to marry, you wouldn't let work stop you. Then I suppose it's because there hasn't been anyone I felt that way about. Really? Nobody this whole time? Yeah, really. Relatable. I see. But still, seeing the two of you like this...
Well, the one he was interested in got married to his best friend.
That's not relatable. I didn't get that, but I do relate to not being attracted to most people.
See?
Still,
but this is a different case.
Yep, see the two of you like this. It makes me realize how nice having a family could be. Tateno peered deeply into Suzune's face. Well, if it ain't Tateno, he looked up as a cheery voice cut into the conversation. It was Daisuke. What are you doing? Wait, what are you doing here? I could ask you the same question. Come on, give me a break. I've come to make the deposit for the client. In that case, no need to worry. I just took care of it myself. I thought you'd forgotten about it. Huh, really? Katone smiled as
How old is Archie?
Yeah.
How much older Archie than Suzune? I forget.
Yeah, I don't remember either. Katone smiled as
I thought it was like 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, it would make sense. Katone smiled as Daisuke reached down and carefully lifted Suzune in his arms. Beaming happily at his daughter, he nuzzled up against her tiny cheek. Daisuke, long time no see. Yeah, glad you're doing well for yourself, Tateno. They walked side by side, Daisuke proudly showing off Suzune's drowsing face. What do you think? Adorable, isn't she? Yeah, luckily she doesn't have your looks, ha ha ha. Hey now, bad-mouthing me the same as ever, huh? Some things haven't changed since high school. Why not drop by our place for a bit, Daisuke offered. Sorry, I'm in the middle of a job, actually. Tateno turned to glance at Katone. An instant later...
Speaking of...
Yeah, Daisuke screamed, Katone! A man had come up behind his wife and now held a kitchen knife to her throat. Katone stood stiffly, frozen in terror. let her go! Tateno took a step toward the man. The slightly upturned eyes, the closed, cropped hair, the thin mustache, all the details matched the description. This had to be the man Tateno was after. Shut your damn mouth! You wanna try and kill me, huh? This lady here wants to try and kill me! The man was babbling nonsense. The reports had said the suspect was a tweaker. Right now, his mind was probably a complete mess from meth withdrawal. Left unchecked, there was no telling what he might do. Tateno shoved Daisuke behind him and drew his gun from his jacket. Wait, don't shoot, you'll hit Katone! But Tateno ignored Daisuke's shouts and trained the gun on the perp's shoulder. He was confident in his marksmanship. He'd never miss at this range. Tateno, please, back down, Daisuke pleaded, Suzune still clutched in his arms. I beg you! I can't. This isn't someone we can reason with. The assailant began waving his knife about. He could stab it into Katone at any moment. Tateno had to take the shot now. He aimed for the shoulder of the man. Aimed for the shoulder of the arm the man held the knife in. Tateno, stop! Don't do this! For a brief moment, Tateno's eyes met Katone's. He thought he saw her give a tiny nod. Don't shoot! Dang. It was all over in an instant. By the time Tateno had the perp subdued, Katone's white shirt was soaked through with red. I mean, it wasn't your fault. You actually did manage to shoot the guy off, which was pretty neat. With Katone's death, so too died Tateno's heart. Whatever feelings had lived inside him had been reduced to cinders, leaving only a never-ending need to atone. But atone for what? Atone for what? You didn't do anything. You actually successfully shot the guy. She was okay. It's not your fault he got back up after getting shot and stabbed her. What else were you supposed to do? Keep the gun up and keep shooting at him until he dies like it's a Resident Evil game? Gotta make sure the zombie doesn't come back up? Countless times he thought of ending his life in order to make things up to Daisuke and his children. Also, I miss Lulu.
I'm listening.
Heck yeah. Also, no! It disconnected again. I'm just gonna click through it. The only reason he didn't go through with it was that he knew death would be the easy way out. And so he stayed on as a detective. Oh, look at them! They're so cute!
There he is.
He would carry the weight of his sins with him for— What sins? What sins? I don't understand. Why is he blaming himself for this? I don't get it. I don't
Survivor's guilt is a bitch.
Yeah. Oh. Clicked on the wrong window.
You always think that you could have done more.
Yeah.
When honestly you do as much as you can at the time.
This was the sentence Tateno gave himself. "15 years had passed since Katone's death. For the first time, Tateno had gone to visit her grave. He was standing by the grave marker with his hands clasped when someone called out to him from behind. Excuse me? A slender young girl stood there, flowers in hand. Tateno instantly recognized her, Suzune. She looked just like Katone had back in her high school days. Did you know my mother? Yes. We were classmates a long time ago. Oh, really? Thank you so much for coming. Suzune gave a slight bow, then gazed up at Tenno with her big, bright eyes. You look just like her. Tenno struggled to hold back the tears. He felt as if Kotone stood before him, returned to life. My father tells me the same thing all the time. I'm sure once you're all grown up, you'll be just as beautiful as she was. A forlorn smile came to Suzune's face. Once I'm grown up? Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I guess I really do have a lot in common with my mother, including the part where I'm gonna die young. Don't be ridiculous. Why would you say such a horrible thing? Suzune took a step backward, looking shocked to be rebuked by a stranger. My apologies, I didn't mean to startle you. No, it's alright. Honestly, it's not something I like to talk about myself, but I'm sick, so there's not really anything I can do to change it. Sick? I have a heart condition. A transplant is the only thing that can help me, but my blood type is a little bit weird, and it doesn't look like they'll be able to find me a compatible donor. Oh shoot, I don't know what the controls are for, I'm gonna have to close out again for the third time this stream. I don't know why it keeps disconnecting.
Does it need an update?
No.
Have you checked?
Well, it would usually say on the page that it needs an update, but it didn't.
He would also be getting the thoughts of, oh, what if I'd just told her to stay at home and just have not let her go over to do the check thing?
Yeah.
What if we never went to that park, kind of thing? You get all those kinds of thoughts from grief and major guilt.
Yeah.
What if I'd just shot him a little sooner, or I'd shot him in the hand, or I shot him in the leg, or the knee? He wouldn't have been able to get up and grab the knife and stab her if I'd shot him in the knee, kind of thing.
Yeah.
A generic expression for illnesses pertaining to the heart, also referred to as heart disease, includes things like heart failure, valvular heart disease, and so forth. The immune system exists to get rid of foreign substances in the body. Often a patient's immune system will attack a transplanted organ, which can result in the organ failing or functioning properly, or it tries to kill a fetus. To mitigate the risk of rejection, it is preferable for the donor recipient to have matching body tissue. In the case of a heart transplant, characteristics such as blood type and pre-sensitized antibodies, human leukocyte antigens, must be screened ahead of time.
Then bowing her head, Suzune stepped in front of the gravestone and clasped her hand in silence. Tenno felt a wrenching pain inside him, as if Kotone were being taken away from him all over again. If there really was a god, why would he do such dreadful things? Is there nothing I can do? He nearly lamented aloud. I'll do anything. Suzune, I'll do whatever I have to do to save you. Tateno clenched his fist as he stared at the grave. Tell me, Kotone, what can I possibly do for your daughter? Please tell me, please.
Forgetting that she still has a son alive.
Yeah, he doesn't care about that.
Hmm.
And so the months rolled on. It's some Freudian stuff going on here.
Uh-huh.
Everything changed just after 10 o'clock that morning. Tateno was on the stakeout when his cell phone rang. He glanced at the call display and saw Daisuke Ando's name. He hadn't heard from Daisuke in years now. Fearing that something had happened to Suzune, Tateno answered the call despite his current tense circumstances. At once he heard Daisuke wailing. Suzune had a seizure. She might not come back for this one. Tateno's terrible suspicions had been right on the mark. He felt himself growing weak. Please, you need to shoot that girl you're with, that Hitomi Osawa. You need to shoot her in the head. If we have her heart, we can save Suzune. At first, Tateno couldn't make sense of what Daisuke was saying. Hurry up and shoot her, please. Hitomi Osawa has the Bombay blood type. Wait, hold on. You want me to kill Hitomi Osawa? Why? He quickly scanned the area. Daisuke, are you nearby? Wait, where are you? Don't worry about that. If you could just render her brain dead, we'll be able to transplant her heart into Suzune.
The term brain dead refers to a state where the entire brain, including the brainstem, is beyond any recovery. In Japan, brain death is defined by Article 6 of the Act on Organ Transplantation, which states that brain death can only be declared with the goal of authorizing a transplant. It is subject to the judgment of at least 2 doctors inspecting the patient, according to a preset process at least 6 hours apart.
Shooting someone in the head didn't necessarily guarantee they'd wind up brain dead, and even assuming it did, if Tateno shot the Osawa girl here in the middle of the scramble, it would cause a giant incident. By the time the autopsy was completed, the window for a heart transplant would surely have passed. Tateno, shoot her,
Exactly.
please. Daisuke, I can't. You know I can't do that. Hurry! It was like his old friend wasn't even listening to him. Look, even if she did wind up brain dead, they wouldn't be able to perform a transplant. But Daisuke kept on shouting, It's fine, it'll be fine. I'll make the transplant work somehow. You'll make it work? Even knowing how ridiculous that was, part of Tateno wanted to know what he had in mind, if anything.
This is an interesting reflection. Remember, like, we just saw, like, he was telling Titano not to shoot when it came to Kone. But now he's like, shoot Hitomi.
Yeah, it's a cool parallel. I finally found it. I found something we could do for Suzune. Please help me help her. Tateno understood Daisuke's feelings painfully well. To be helpless to stop the suffering of someone you love, nothing in the world hurt as much as that. I want to save Suzune, Tateno. This is the one thing I will ever ask of you. Tateno could hear choked weeping from the other end of the line, and at that sound something inside him shifted. Yes, Daisuke was right. The likelihood of a transplant happening wasn't the issue. What mattered was that right now he could take action. He could do something for Suzune. He mustered up his resolve, feeling the doubt lift from his heart. I mean, it does matter, because then you'll just end up with 2 dead people if it doesn't work out. Then nobody's saved. And everybody's in pain. For Suzune. For the daughter of the woman he'd loved. Tateno checked the gun tucked inside his jacket, then slowly began making his way through the crowd towards Hitomi. Now you know why we're here. Tateno gestured steadily with his gun, its barrel still pressed against Maria's temple. Kano's own gun wavered in his hands. He was crying inside. There was nothing else he wanted to hear from Tateno now, and now he was sure of one thing. Words were never going to stop this man. Kano, At my age, I've seen all sorts of young detectives come and go. He fixed his lonesome gaze on Kano, and you're about the worst of the lot. Whenever it's time to take action, you immediately do something reckless. Do you know how many formal apologies I've had to write because of you? Tateno let out a heavy sigh. But you know, Kano, because of the way you've looked up to me, you've saved me. And that's the truth. He sounded like a man speaking his last words. Now, come on, see if you can stop me. He pressed the gun harder against Maria's temple. This is also a parallel as well.
Mhm.
Because now he's like the person with the knife in the backstory.
Except that he wants to die.
Yeah.
He
And
he is insulting Kano. He is basically just inviting Kano to shoot him.
yeah. Kano took aim at his former hero's head. Detective Tateno. His finger wavered on the trigger. Shoot him. You have to shoot him. If you don't shoot him, Maria is going to die. I feel like Kano is not going to do it. Because, like, the main issue in that past, like, I think it was the right thing that Tateno took the shot, because there was not really that much else he could have done. But I do think it would make sense, like, parallel structure-wise, to have Kano not shoot Tateno. Because then that would be like
because who knows if Titano hadn't have shot that guy, would he still have stabbed Kokone? Would he have just have run away?
Yeah, you never know. And then also, I think Kano here has to break away from Tateno's actions and not follow suit what he did. And the main thing would be to not take the shot. He tried desperately to convince himself. I am going to stop you. Do it then. Shoot me. Kano stared right back. He tightened his finger on the trigger. Ah! Oh, snap, he did shoot. But where he actually shot...
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
I know, but you aren't gonna know yet.
Yep. But, yeah, Maria's story ended. What the heck?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, now we only have 4 characters here.
Yeah.
Oh, snap! I think this is the second... Oh, running out of time. Clear the 6... Oh, snap! We really are just the 4 people now.
Yep.
And I think this is supposed to be the second to last block.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, the whole point of her disappearing there is so we have no idea what's happened to Maria yet.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so we're gonna jump back to Kano, as we do.
Because Anya really wants to know.
Yeah, I want to know what happened. A gunshot rang out from Tateno's gun, but it was a wild shot fired reflexively as the weapon flew out of his hand. A figure had leapt from behind the water storage tank, kicking him in the arm that held the gun. Oh, is it Kanan? Is it Kanan? I wonder if Maria pressed the thing to turn back on the GPS or something. Then, moving almost too fast for the eye to track, the newcomer delivered an elbow strike to Tateno's jaw. Kano didn't even have a chance to fire his gun. Before he could react, Maria's kidnapper was already laid out on the ground. Without so much as looking back, the girl bolted down the stairs. Or no, or no, somebody leapt from behind the tank, so it might have been, it might have been Kanan. Maria! He started to chase after her, but a bright glimmer in the corner of his eye stopped him in his tracks. The strange assailant had drawn a knife and was preparing to slit the unconscious Satano's throat. Kano quickly brought his gun back to bear. Stop right there!
Colonel's gun?
The knife stopped mere millimeters from Tateno's neck. Kano was sure that if he hadn't intervened, the detective's throat would have been slit already. The knife wielder pulled back the hood that had been concealing her face. Yeah, it's Kanan. You, I know you. Shocked to see that he recognized the attacker. It was the girl who'd been knocked down by the minivan explosion.
Why stop me? Weren't you just about to shoot him yourself?
I don't have a reason to shoot him anymore now that you've helped Maria escape. Please put the knife away.
Very well. Looks like he's not waking up for a while anyway.
The girl withdrew the knife and rose to her feet. Why did you come to Maria's rescue?
Because she's my friend.
She's been infected with a virus. We have to get her to help as soon as possible. He headed for the stairs that Maria had scampered down.
Not so fast. Don't move.
The girl's sharp note made Kano stop. What for? I thought you wanted to help.
I do want to help her, which is why I'm not letting the police get their hands on her.
The girl's voice was quiet but hard as steel.
The police are afraid of the Yule virus spreading, which is why they certainly placed Maria on the quarantine. That happens, there won't be any way to save her.
Just who in the world are you?
Before I answer that, let's make a deal.
Kind of waited, non-committal.
Yeah. I have information relevant to this case. I want to make an exchange.
Kano swallowed the lump in his throat. In exchange for what?
Tell me where Hitomi Osara is.
Hitomi Osawa? Stanley had taken Hitomi into custody. Kano could probably get in touch and ask him where she was, but why do you want to know where Hitomi is?
Do we have a deal or not?
The girl looked like she was in no mood to argue. Still, if she knew about the UA virus, she was probably telling the truth about having information. But it was a violation of police policy to leak information on any investigation to a third party. Besides, was it wise to trust this young woman without knowing who she was? Kind of weighed his options for a moment before replying.
Five, four,
No!
3, 2, 1.
I probably picked the wrong one now. Whatever. First, I need to know who you are.
My name is Kanan.
Kanan? Kano thought back to the grisly scene at the Foreign Syndicate's hideout. Did she do that? Kano was almost afraid to wonder. As if sensing his unease, Kanan spoke up, her voice low and calm.
Once you hear what I have to say, I think you'll be more inclined to tell me where Hitomi is.
There was still a lingering trace of adolescence in this strange girl's face. It was hard to believe someone so young could be a covert Middle Eastern operative. And yet Kano had seen how quickly she'd been able to render Toteno unconscious.
Unconscious? Did you just say unconscious?
What? What?
You said unconscious.
No.
Instead of unconscious.
Alright then, guess I'll go. Oh wait, no, that's you.
Alright then. Guess I'll go first. There's someone out there trying to get their hands on the antiviral drug. My objective is to eliminate this person and put a stop to their plan.
Kano felt neither surprise nor horror at her use of the term eliminate. After all that had happened today, he realized his sensibilities had gone numb. This person you're after, you're talking about an arms dealer named Alphard, aren't you?
The Eurovirus has been weaponized and tested several times on the battlefield to great effect. The antiviral would render this weapon wholly ineffective. Countries the world over are dying to get their hands on it.
Then why did Alphard orchestrate this kidnapping? If the goal is to get the antiviral, why not just steal it from the laboratory? There was a lot about this kidnapping case that just didn't add up. Kano was sure Alphard's plan was hidden in those baffling details. I like this. I like how they're doing this part. This is cool. Very anime.
Lab security at Ikoshi Pharmaceutical is practically perfect.
Oh my god, the storm thing is going off.
Yeah, I was wondering what that noise was.
Yeah, it's the my dad's storm radio going off. That means a storm might be heading soon. So if I lose connection, that'll be why.
You're not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah, I am in Kansas. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that if you suddenly go away, you're not in Kansas anymore. Yeah. The place is under surveillance 24 hours a day, and getting to where the antiviral is stored requires bypassing 3 sophisticated electronic locks. Getting the antiviral out is impossible.
Unexpectedly, a slight grin appeared on Kanan's face.
If you were Alphard, how would you steal it?
Huh? Kana was taken aback by the sudden question. He thought good and hard about how to answer. Just wait until it hits pharmacy's shelves.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
I guess it's this, right? If you can't sneak something out, maybe you could sneak something in.
Because we know that Hitomi got infected, or whichever got infected, then they took her straight in and got the antiviral.
Yeah. Kano hadn't had any particular flash of insight. He just figured the opposite of the obvious might be the answer. To his surprise, Kanan gave a nod.
Very astute.
Wait, really? Kano, you're...
Good thing you have us playing you.
Yeah.
You dumb shit.
Yep, our
6 days ago. Yeah. Alphard injected Itomi with the Eurovirus.
Nani? The tale had taken a sudden and very unexpected turn. So it wasn't only Maria who had been infected, but Hitomi as well, and 6 days ago at that. Wait, hold on. Hitomi Osawa was perfectly healthy earlier today, so that must mean... This is such an anime scene. Like, the jumping between characters. Like, I love it. I love it so much. It's so good.
Exactly. Kenji Osara administered the antiviral to her.
Just there's so many interesting ways the story is telling the story. Like, I like it a lot. A lot of good work went into this.
It's such a good game.
Unsettling
It
thought occurs to
it
Kano.
it uses the unreliable narrator to great effect.
Yeah, it's good. It was supposedly impossible for Osawa to access the antiviral all by himself. But if he'd been able to give it to his daughter all the same, then that had to mean...
He needed Mamoru Tanaka's help to do it, of course. Which is why I thought bribed Tanaka ahead of time.
So that's what happened. Tanaka had been paid off to inject Hitomi with the virus. Getting Osawa to take action at that point wouldn't have been difficult. But why go to such lengths to get the antiviral administered to Hitomi? Why would Alphard have Hitomi infected with the virus only to have her father cure it?
It's been roughly a week since she was given the antiviral. The DDS is still in her body.
The what?
Essentially, taking blood for Hitomi Osawa now would allow someone to extract minuscule amounts of the antiviral.
Kano was stunned. Suddenly, all these seemingly unrelated threats were beginning to form a pattern. So, since getting the antiviral itself out of the lab wasn't an option, Alphard must have thought of using a human vessel. Which means the thing that Alphard's really after is...
Yes. Hitomi's blood. Because you take that, you reverse engineer, and you've got an antiviral.
Yep.
Alphard specifically requested that Hitomi make the ransom handoff. Additionally, the crime syndicate was hired to carry out a relay of the attaché case containing the ransom money. This would disrupt the investigation and distract the police, allowing the kidnappers to target Hitomi in secret.
Push him off the roof. Heck yeah, sure. Wait, no, hold on. There was something about the story that still made no sense to Kano. Tell me this. Maybe why not use Tanaka for the vessel and stuff? I'm thinking either one of these two. Why not just kidnap Hitomi in the first place? Well, that actually, no, that makes sense. Why not use Tanaka for the vessel instead of Hitomi? Tanaka could enter the lab along with Osawa, then secretly inject himself with the antiviral. It didn't seem like that would be terribly difficult.
A good question. If getting the antiviral were the only goal, that would be the most expedient means of doing it, but it's not.
So then why use Hitomi Osawa? Kanan thought for a moment before answering.
Tanaka may have objected to the idea of giving himself the drug. I hear that it can have some severe side effects.
But she seemed unconvinced by her own words. Do you know why they targeted Hitomi?
I don't, but I'm sure there must be some reason.
Alphard hadn't gone with using Tanaka, which would have been the sure thing. Instead, they'd gone with Hitomi. Hitomi was injected with the virus, brought into the lab, and used to sneak the antiviral out. Oh, okay. I think I get this now.
Go on.
I think it has to do with the fact that, Hitomi also has, like, the Bombay blood, and, I think maybe it has to do with all that stuff that's been going on as well. Like, maybe Alphard knew about that, and it was gonna use it to an advantage.
Because that can be used to, because it's a rare blood type anyway, it is used to help out so many people, because you can't give Bombay blood any other blood type, but you can give every other blood type the Bombay type.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I think maybe it's her blood type of why it had to be Hitomi. Now, the plan was to extract the antiviral from Hitomi's blood. Something about this idea has still struck Kano as incredibly odd. So wait, why not just abduct Hitomi from the very beginning? Why kidnap Maria instead? Yeah, it's had the kidnappers mistaken Maria for Hitomi. The two were twins after all, so it wasn't inconceivable, but...
It's my fault that Maria was kidnapped.
Oof. Kanan looked away.
I contacted her before all this started. I told her about the kidnapping plan, and I gave her a GPS beacon to give to her sister, so that I could track Hitomi's location after she is abducted. But my plan backfired. Maria switched places with Hitomi and let herself get taken by Alphard.
What the hell? Why hadn't Maria taken this to the police? Or if she was so determined to protect her sister, why not just get her to leave town or something like that?
There must have been some sort of accident though. The GPS was never turned on after the kidnapping, and I wasn't able to track Maria down. But there was something that even Alphard hadn't counted on.
Kanan cast a glance over at Titano.
This person right here.
Yeah, I see now. Like I was gonna mention this before, but and I think I mentioned it in previous episodes that a big part of the game is like Alphard is trying to do the whole like Batman Gambit stuff, but then other people are also throwing wrenches into it as well, which is leading to all the craziness that's going on, especially what Titano decided to do was very off script.
Yes.
For what Alphard expected. And so, inadvertently, he actually saved Hitomi and Maria's lives by doing this.
Yep.
So Titano had disrupted Alphard's plan by going after Hitomi himself.
Considering we're so late, Alphard must be panicking about now. But we can't let down our guard. Even now, I'm sure the mastermind is thinking of some way to fit what this man has done into the master plan.
No, Azure, big hugs.
Me first, Azure, my cool dibs.
No, I won't let either of you die.
You can't do much from over there.
So it's a perfectly imperfect plan, is that what you're saying?
Precisely.
Kanan flashed Kano an approving grin. I heard that from Stanley, the man who drove you to the hospital earlier.
That case officer, huh?
Case officer? So that was it. Stanley was CIA.
The US Embassy in Akasaka functions as the headquarters for the CIA's Japan branch. As the embassy building is not reliably secure, however, the agency carries out many of its activities in specially constructed embassy annex facilities, often under the guise of cultural exchange organizations. There are reportedly over 100 CIA personnel active in Japan, but given the inherent secrecy involved, the exact number is not officially known.
Now that Kano had thought about it, it all made sense.
Since Alpha is a arms dealer with worldwide connections, I don't know what nation would be trying to obtain the antiviral. Obviously, any country that has the viral weapon would want to prevent their enemies from obtaining it. It's no huge surprise that people are putting in trying to put a stop to Alpha's plan.
A tiny beeping sound caught Kano's attention. Kanan pulled a PDA from her breast pocket.
Personal digital assistant refers to various types of small portable devices for information management, occasionally also referred to as a handheld PC. Interesting. The GPS I give to Maria has just been powered on. Now I can find her location.
Where is she?
She's on the move. But why is the GPS suddenly active now? And anyway, I told you what I know. Now tell me where Hitomi is.
Alright. Kano got out of his phone and called Stanley. The American was quick to pick up. What's going on? Where is Hitomi? We're on our way to Endo Electronics in Dogensaka. Endo Electronics? Why are you going there? Kano was familiar with the dilapidated old storefront. He had passed by the place countless times. Hitomi is at a new Japan Pro Wrestling show. Heck yeah.
Yay.
Too long of a... Oh, wait, shoot! Oh, no!
What?
The state of play is about to happen.
Oh, I thought you had a revelation about the story.
No.
It's fine, it'll be in the previews for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's true. Or we could just start now. Oh wait, it says it begins in a minute. Oh yeah, because it is 5:59. I mean, we can just watch it tomorrow. That is true, and then we can skip through all the boring stuff.
Exactly.
You're right.
We could easily watch it in a few hours, you know?
Yeah, so anyways, actually, let's ignore that.
The three of us can watch it together.
Heck yeah.
In a couple of hours.
Same brain. Heck yeah. Too long of a story, there's a lot that's happened. How are things on your end? About as bad as they could be, but I'm getting closer to the truth. Please make sure you keep Hitomi safe. Alphard is after her blood. Her blood? Kano told Stanley what he'd heard from Kanan. I see. So that's what's going on. Once we're finished with things in Dogen Saga, I'll bring Hitomi right back to the precinct.
Where is she?
Kanan asked as soon as Kano had hung up. She's on her way to an electronics store in Dogensaka.
I see.
Kanan checked Maria's location on her PDA.
First, I need to get to Maria. I'll get to Hitomi after that.
I'm going with you.
Be my guest.
And let us do the rest. That's a deep cut from where I live. Or where I used to live, not anymore.
In France?
No, in Buffalo.
Really? Because I do that for Beauty and the Beast.
Oh no, I was referencing...
Be my guest, be my guest. Do the rest.
there's a local thing called Russell's Steak, Chops, and More. It's like a food place and hotel and stuff made by like an eccentric billionaire guy in Buffalo. And he always had like these wacky commercials on TV, and it would always end with "Be my guest and let us do the rest." With that, Kanan took off running. Kano took one last glance at the unconscious Tateno, then hurried after Kanan as fast as he could.
Did Naruto run as he was going?
Heck yeah. So, do we want to stop here or keep going?
I'm not sure how much longer this is, so...
Yeah, because I think, I wonder, You mean how much longer?
we can stop, we can stop now and actually watch the state of play.
Yeah, well, I can keep going if you think this hour doesn't take as long.
I honestly don't remember, so...
They ran from South Hill and Nanpidai towards Shibuya Station. As they darted and weaved madly through the narrow side streets, Kanan took an occasional glimpse at her PDA. It felt to Kano like they must be taking the shortest possible route to Maria's location. He stayed quiet, keeping pace as Kanan led the way. Before he knew it, they were heading up Dogensaka. In not too long, they'd be at Endo Electronics. Hey!
What?
Are you sure this is the right area?
Are you doubting the GPS?
No, it's not that. Kind of scan the area. It's just that Endo Electronics is right up ahead.
What?
Kanan stopped abruptly.
What are you suggesting?
The twins are heading for the same location, that's my guess. So what did that actually mean? Kano hadn't figured that out yet. They took off running again, and before long, Endo Electronics came into view. Kanan stopped in front of the shop door. Are we gonna finally all meet up? Because that would be cool. Finally, whole squatted up.
Right here.
I knew it. Endo Electronics, the same place Hitomi was headed.
Guess we're all riding up together.
But this also is kind of bad. Because maybe Alfar planned for all of us to kind of converge like this. Or it could just be coincidence from everything. Well, not a coincidence, but like connected to the fact that technically the whole reason everything's going on besides the whole drug plot is all ties to Endo Electronics.
Or else we've been brought together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As he peered keenly at the building and its surroundings, Kano swallowed hard. We? You think you've been roped into this too?
Quite possibly.
Kanan flashed a winning smile, then started to head into the shop. Hold on, I need to report into HQ. Kano hurriedly called Kuze on his cell. Kano! What's going on? I've located Maria Osawa. Huh? What's that? Kuze's words came out as a surprised and childish yelp.
Come on. Time is too critical.
He nodded silently back at her. Kano! What's the location? Where are you? I can't say right now, sir. Please, just leave this to me. Hey! Now just hold on! But Kano ignored the director's squawking and hung up. This is it! Oh my gosh, this feels so, like, I love with the music and everything and everybody finally coming together for the first time, making me pumped up. I really hope something doesn't happen that causes a bad end or something, because that would make me mad. Kanan had already entered the shop. She seemed wholly unconcerned by the idea that she might be playing right into Alphard's hands. Oh, snap. Despite her youth, she clearly thought of herself as quite capable. Warily, he followed after her.
What you thinking?
Nah, I thought I had an idea, and then it kind of left me.
Tell me.
No, I had an idea, and then it left me. I was
Okay.
like, nah. After navigating a veritable cavern of junk, they came to a door that led to the living area beyond. Kanan quietly opened the door and immediately stepped inside. The home was divided into a dwelling area and a workroom. A man's voice could be overheard from the workroom, raised in anger. Don't you want to save Suzune? Kano and Kanan stepped closer. Peering through the next doorway, they saw a tense confrontation in progress. Oh, snap! Maria and Stanley were standing there, looking down at a middle-aged man who had restrained Hitomi with a stun gun pressed to her throat. Dad, of course I want to help Suzune. Oh my god, we've all met up. I mean, besides Minorikawa and Osawa, but we've all met up. Let's go! I'm so excited. I mean, this is a terrible thing going on here, but I'm excited that we're all together at least. A young man stepped into view, speaking to the older fellow. But you think this is what she'd want you to do? Kana watched intently, tensing for action. There was so much at risk here. He was about to barge into the workroom when Kanan grabbed him by the shoulder.
Let's wait and see how this goes first.
He realized this was good advice. If they provoked the older man, things could very well take a sharp turn for the worse. They just have to hope the young man could talk him down.
Let's not do that yet, and we'll do that in the next stream, because I want to go.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to, like, I think we're about to hit a keep out. Let's see. Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
I knew it, because as soon as I saw the jump, I was like, oh, we're probably going to get some keep out soon. Okay, so we did all of that. But yeah, it definitely feels like we're at the end game here. Like, not the end game, but we're getting pretty close to the end game. Like, we're in the final stretches. A lot of the mysteries have been cleared up. And a lot of the characters are finally meeting up after being separated this whole time.
The biggest question you're gonna run into is, who's Alphard?
Yeah. Yeah, the Avengers Endgame. Yeah. It'll be interesting to find out who Alphard is. Technically, I've seen her as an anime character, but not as an actual, like, human being. Because I've seen, like, the anime opening and stuff. But that's it. That's it.
Yep.
That's all I know. But yeah. Anyways, we're getting there. We're getting there. I think if we manage to keep these streams going even once I start working, we'll probably finish it before the end of the year.
We'll see. Well, hopefully before I leave for 3 weeks.
Hopefully, big hugs. But yeah, I think next time we should probably start with Achi again, I think. Actually, just because of that, I'm gonna click on Achi just so it saves there. So that we're definitely there. Oh, that's good that he immediately told them as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what I'll do is we'll do Achi go as far as it lets us go the next time. Then maybe jump back to Kano and do the keep out once we hit a keep out, maybe, and then head over to the other two once that is we hit the ends of that. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. But yee. And with that, I think I'll call it for today.
Yep, I'm gonna go rest and watch a stream, but I'll save this gameplay until another time when
when we
we
can
can
all watch
skip it.
Yeah. Because it does make it easier when you can just skip through the boring parts.
Yes,
You're like, oh, it's
like
another
all
shooter.
of the, oh no, another Call of Duty clone, or another, Dead Dark Souls.
Yeah, or the time, like, whenever they have, like, a new Call of Duty coming out, like, the actual Call of Duty, and they're like, we're gonna spend 20 minutes of your time just showing gameplay footage from that, and it's like, I don't care. Let me go.
I don't care.
Free me! Free me! But anyways, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thanks for joining. Next stream will be
we'll leave it up in the air because we don't know.
Yeah. Well, the next, I'll have the Saturday stream this week, so we'll have the Saturday stream, and I think next Monday I'll still be able to do this. So hopefully we'll be able to just do a regular Monday stream again next week. And then we'll see from there after that, because the Monday after that will be work. Which is crazy. Crazy to think about.
Yep.
But anyways, thank you all for joining. Despite us spending like an hour talking about random stuff, we actually made progress.
Yeah.
And we're now on to
we
the
made
next
it
hour.
to the next hour. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's this hour, and then we have one more after that that's like a combination of 3 hours or so, or 2. I don't remember. And
it lasts just as long.
Yep. And then I think we'll be all set after that, but we'll see. Believing in the dream.
We'll see.
But yeah, anyways, let's see who we shall raid. Let's see who's live. Oh, Tilly is live, so let's raid Tildays. But yeah, thanks for joining Lulu for another stream. And thanks for joining Azure and Rolf and Owen and Mew. I love you all very much. Y'all are the bestest beans. No, y'all know. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.